It is officially time, the part of the season that everyone has been waiting for. It's the Alaska Baseball League top of the World Series. And what better two teams to be in it than the top two seeds in the playoffs, the number 2 visiting Anchorage Bucs and the number 1 regular season champions, Matsu Miners. For the Bucs, it's their second year in a row, and for the Miners, it's their 5th year in a row in this top of the World Series championship series. But it is a rematch of the title game last year, so we are sure to be in for a fun at least 2 games, maybe even 3. We'll run through the visiting Anchorage Bucs lineup to begin this game. Daniel Fredrickson will be leading things off, the left fielder out of Gonzaga, followed by the first baseman also out of Gonzaga, Jake Veith. J.C. Correa is playing third and batting third, the Lamar signee, followed by the catcher out of Oregon State, Troy Clonch. Batting fifth is Jace Vandenbrake, the right fielder from Gonzaga, followed by the center fielder out of the University of Louisiana Lafayette, Brennan Breaux. Second baseman Willie Escala from the University of Miami, Florida, bats seventh. The designated hitter Logan Enos from New Mexico State, and the shortstop Dimitri Calaccio from Utah. And they'll be on to face the tall left-hander out of Texas A&M in Kerrville, Texas, Asa Lacey. Asa has not started in any of those 2 games against the Chinooks. And in the regular season, Lacey, in 8 appearances, 6 starts, pitched 32 2/3 innings with a 2.20 ERA and a record of 3-1 with 47 strikeouts and 10 walks. On hand today is myself, Brad Walker, and alongside me is Connor Mills for this great matchup and what is a well enough day for baseball, I should say. 70 degrees and cloudy, so no precipitation is to be called on, so we should be able to play all 9 innings without any problems. Interesting, the first pitch out thrown was by a former 2-time Miner, I should say, Calvin LeBron, the younger brother of assistant coach Tyler LeBron. So neat to see him return and possibly bring some luck as he was a part of the back-to-back titles as the Miners look for 2 wins to get their 3rd ABL championship in a row. So stepping in from the left side of the box will be Daniel Fredrickson. Asa Lacey will toe the rubber, and we're ready to begin Game 1 of the top of the World Series championship series, a lefty-on-lefty matchup. So Asa Lacey looks in. His first pitch of the ball game is in for a called strike, 0-1 to Daniel Fredrickson. Fredrickson in the 2 games against the Oilers. The Bucs did sweep that series, just like the Miners swept the Chinooks. He went 1 for 10, did not have an RBI, and drew 2 walks and struck out 4 times. He swings through a high fastball from Lacey. He's now down on the count, 0-2. Fredrickson on the regular season batted .211 with a .310 on-base percentage and also drove in 15 runs. So not a bad summer campaign. But Asa Lacey looks for the first out of the game with this pitch, but it misses high and away, 1-2.
Good waste pitch from Asa Lacey. Don't miss near the zone. Try to get Daniel Fredrickson to chase out of the zone.
Asa Lacey, we just mentioned, a left-handed pitcher, 6'4", out of Kerrville, Texas, and Texas A&M. His 1-2 offering is swung and missed by Daniel Fredrickson. We have the first out in Game 1 at the top of the World Championship Series, thanks to a strikeout from Asa Lacey.
Just a nice sequence of pitches from Asa Lacey, getting him blown it right by with a couple fastballs and going off speed there to get Fredrickson chasing.
With 1 out, run through the defensive starters of the Miners. The man behind the plate is Austin Pianarini. Over in the hot corner is Tyler Bozetti. Drew Swift playing short. Caleb Van Blake's the second baseman. Over at first is Josh Hatcher. In the outfield from left to right is Danny Wright, Kona Quiggle, and Nick Brooks. So Jake Veith stands in, the left-handed hitting first baseman, with 1 out in the top of the first inning. He looks at a high and inside fastball around his chest from Asa Lacey, 1-0. Jake Veith standing in from the left side, that open stance as he looks at another ball high, 2-0, with 1 down in the top of the first. Veith in 2 games in the postseason is 2 for 8 with 3 RBIs, 3 walks, and has only struck out twice, as he is one of the most dangerous hitters as he fouls this one back, 2-1, as he was voted the ABL Player of the Year and Silver Slugger, and also was the first-team first baseman in the Alaska Baseball League, so he'll have a lot of honors after this season's over, but would like to add a team championship to that as well. So Lacey, who works from the wind, just misses high and in with the 2-seamer. A long look into home plate umpire Scott Johnson, as he was not in agreement with that call. Nevertheless, he'll need to find the zone here, or else Jake Veith will be the first base runner aboard. Asa Lacey's 3-1 pitch is swung through by Jake Veith. Nice changeup The count is now full to the first baseman from Gonzaga. Back-to-back lefty-on matchups before we'll see a right-hander in the man on deck in J.C. Correa. So Lacey trying to set down the first two Bucs batters. A long look in. Checks from Pinarini. Winds, deals his pitch. This one is lifted high and out of play to the left side, so the count will stay full. Normally we see a shift on Jake Veith, but other than the outfield being a few steps back and a few steps over to the right, really no difference in the infield other than Tyler Brosetti and Drew Swift, who each take a few steps towards the second base bag. So Lacey's 3-2 offering is bounced foul and over to the right side, so the count stays full.
Well, you could say the outfield is playing back Nick Brooks. If he takes any more steps, the fence would be right on his back. Brooks is deep out at there.
So we know if Nick Brooks starts taking steps back that this one may be out of here. Nevertheless, Asa Lacey would not want that to happen. His 3-2 pitch will miss outside with a fastball, so Jake Veith is aboard with a walk with one down in the top of the first inning. So Jake Veith, that's his fourth walk of the postseason. He drew 22 in the regular season. So the Bucs have a man aboard with no score in the top of the first. J.C. Correa now stepping up to the plate from the right side. The third baseman, the Lamar signee, is 5 of 12 so far in the postseason, so really seeing the ball well as he takes a high and inside fastball. The count goes 1-0. Correa is currently on a 5-game hitting streak where he's batting .500 during that span, and every single game has been multi-hit. So talk about a guy that is tough to pitch to. Correa is exactly that. As this 1-0 pitch is well inside, Correa had to hop back out of it. Count goes 2-0. That's back-to-back batters that Asa Lacey has fallen behind early in counts, and Caleb Van Blake will make a mound visit. The veteran second baseman out of UC Davis wants to chat with his young pitcher just finished up his freshman campaign. So that meeting is adjourned, and Lacey will step back on the rubber from the stretch. Jake Veith on first did not steal any bases in the regular season, or has yet to steal any in the postseason. So Lacey working out of the stretch. Correa pops one foul and out of play to the right side, so the count moves to 2 balls and 1 strike. Correa, along with that 5 for 12 batting record so far in the postseason, also has an RBI, no walks, and struck out once so far in the 2 games he's played in the postseason. Lacey's 2-1 pitch, that nails the upper outside corner. The count is 2-2. So Lacey trying to put out another Bucs batter via the strikeout. That was what happened to the leadoff man, Daniel Fredrickson. So Lacey checks first, now motions to the plate. His 2-2 is tapped over to short. Drew Swift gathers, tosses second for one, and the throw over to first is just high as Josh Hatcher couldn't apply the jump spin tag. So the Miners will have to settle for one with 2 outs now in the top of the first inning.
Well, just a good play for Drew Swift coming in on it. Knew he didn't have to rush the play because Veith, again, he's not the most quickest of the Bucs base runners out there. So a nice, easy play for Swift, and just the turn not in time by Van Blake.
And that'll bring up Troy Clonch, the catcher from Oregon State. He bats from the right side with 2 outs in the top of the first inning. We yet to have a score here in Game 1 of the top of the World Championship Series. Clonch is a guy that had to miss the final 5 games of the regular season after he was hit in the head against the Miners. As a precautionary measure, was cleared to play, but the Bucs did not want to lose one of their best hitters on the team as he looks at a strike low, 0-1. So Clonch during the regular season did hit well, .280 batting average with .357 on base percentage, and also drove in 3 runs. As Asa Lacey is now ahead in the count, 0-2 after that pitch nailed the lower inside corner to the right-handed hitting Clonch. So Asa Lacey looking to get out of this inning with just 1 runner aboard as the Miners. Technically there's 2 runners aboard, but Jake Veith was retired, so there's just a man on first and J.C. Correa. Asa Lacey's 0-2 pitch rises up the ladder, and Austin Pinarini has to lift to catch it. So the count goes to 1 ball and 2 strikes with 2 outs in the top of the first inning in Game 1 of the top of the World Championship Series. A rematch of last year's championship series in which the Miners got the better of the Bucs 2-1 after winning the last 2 games of the series. Nice pickoff move from Asa Lacey, has J.C. Correa in a pickle. Goes to Hatcher to Van Blake, back to Hatcher, and back to Van Blake, who makes the tag on J.C. Crea for out number 3. So excellent pickoff move from Asa Lacey ends the top of the first inning, and the Mat-Su Miners will come up to the plate for the first time tonight when we return on the Mat-Su Miners Radio Network. Mat-Su Miners Internet broadcast is sponsored by the Napa Auto Parts of Alaska and owner Jim Ruda. Stop into one of your locally owned and operated Napa Auto Parts of Alaska and ask about a Mat-Su Miners jersey giveaway. So stop in and enter for your chance to win today.
The Alaska Railroad and Operation Lifesaver would like to remind our friends and neighbors when approaching a railroad crossing, always expect a train. Look, listen, live.
Hi, I'm Caleb Van Blake, infielder from UC Davis, and you're listening to Mat-Su Miners Radio.
It's the bottom of the first inning as the Bucs were held scoreless in the top of the first as the inning ended on a nice pickoff move from Asa Lacey that got J.C. Crea in a pickle, but the Miners tagged him out for out number 3. So the starting 9 for the Mat-Su Miners goes as follows, leading things off as the center fielder from Green Canyon, Kona Quiggle, followed by the second baseman from UC Davis, Caleb Van Blake. Spencer Henson, the designated hitter from Oral Roberts, bats third. The cleanup man for the Miners is the catcher from Gonzaga, Austin Pinarini. Also from Gonzaga and playing right field batting 5th is Nick Brooks. Batting 6th is the first baseman from Mississippi State, Josh Hatcher. Left fielder Danny Wright from Southeast Missouri State bats 7th. Tyler Brozetti, the third baseman from the University of Nevada, Reno, bats 8th. And rounding things out in the 9th spot is the shortstop from Arizona State, Drew Swift. They will be facing a tough one on the mound and left-handed pitcher Adam Seminaris, a first-team All-ABL guy, and rightfully so. In 8 appearances, 7 of them starts, and 47 innings pitched racked up, had a .38 ERA, which led the ABL in a 4-1 record as he struck out 35 and only walked 6. As his last start came against these Miners, or rather last start came against the Miners on July 26th. So this will be his first time in the postseason as well. Kona Quiggle steps into the box from the left side, so a lefty-on-lefty matchup to begin the bottom of the first inning. Seminaris' first pitch misses low and away with a fastball. The count is 1-0. Kona Quiggle so far in the postseason is 3 of 10 with 2 RBIs, has struck out twice as well, and no walks. So Seminaris, his 1-0 pitch, Quiggle thought about it, but it missed low and hit near Kona Quiggle's back foot. The count goes to 2-0. These two teams in the season series went 6-5 with the Miners winning the season series thanks to a regular season finale win, which led the Miners to get the 1 spot in the ABL playoffs. Kona Quiggle dribbles one over to short. Coming up on it is Calaccio. His throw is just in time, beats Kona Quiggle by a half a step for out number 1 in the bottom of the first inning. With 1 out, we'll run through the defensive starters for the Anchorage Bucs. Troy Klontz is the catcher. Over at third base is J.C. Crea. Playing short is Dimitri Calaccio. Willie Escala is the second baseman, and Jake Feith is playing first base. Daniel Fredrickson in left field, Brennan Bro in center, and over in right field is Jace Vandebrake. That is the defense for the Anchorage Bucs. No score, bottom of the first inning, 1 out. Caleb Van Blake steps up to the plate as he fouls one off to the left side. So just like the Bucs order, the Miners come at with 2 straight lefties and then a righty. So Seminaris is ahead in the count to Van Blake, 0-1. Van Blake out of UC Davis just finished up his junior season as he softly hits one out of play and over to the left side in a solid crowd here on hand at Herman Brothers Field in Palmer, which was a huge factor in why the Miners really wanted to win that regular season finale, because the 1 seed will play every single postseason game at home, whereas if you're the 2 seed, you're only guaranteed the first series. And here the Bucs are playing on the road, in which the Miners were very good at home this season. So Seminaris, his next pitch, this one's lifted into left field, moving over near the left field line and reaching out to grab it is Daniel Fredrickson for out number 2. as Spencer Henson, the designated hitter from Oral Roberts, steps up to the plate from the right side. We talk about that home record for the Miners. They are now 19-5 if you combine those 2 wins against the Chinooks in the opening round of the ABL playoffs. So Henson steps up to the plate from the right side against the lefty Seminaris. Henson, he's been doing great ever since entering postseason play. 4 of 8, does not have an RBI yet, but 1 walk and only 1 strikeout, and also stole home. So Seminaris, who works from the wind, his first pitch into Henson is a nice fastball that hits the upper part of the strike zone, 0-1. Spencer Henson, one of the better hitters in the ABL this season, was second in batting average at .336. Also had a .401 on base percentage. As this next pitch from Seminaris misses well outside to the right-handed hitting Henson, 1-1. Along with those numbers, Spencer drove in 33 runs with 13 walks. So Henson bats from the right side with that bit of an open stance. Takes a hack at the next pitch from Seminaris as he fouls it off to the right side, 1-2. Still no score as we're in the bottom of the first inning in Palmer. Game 1 of the Alaska Baseball League Top of the World Series Championship Series between the Bucs and the Miners. A rematch of last year, so the Bucs trying to avenge a loss, where the Miners are trying to make it 3 in a row. Seminaris currently ahead in the count to Spencer Henson, 1-2. Winds, deals, and misses outside, 2-2.
That was a good pitch to look at for Spencer Henson. He knew it was low and away. A tough one to lay off, and he did a nice job.
Henson, a guy only struck out 20 times during the regular season. As Seminaris offers the 2-2, this one is lined into center field. Moving in quickly is Bro, and laying out to make the catch for out number 3 to end the first inning is the Bucs center fielder Brennan Bro. He makes the web gem, and we have no score after 1 inning of play of the Game 1 of the Top of the World Championship Series on the Mat-Su Miners Radio Network. Mat-Su Miners Internet broadcast is sponsored by the Napa Auto Parts of Alaska and owner Jim Ruda. Stop into one of your locally owned and operated Napa Auto Parts of Alaska and ask about a Mat-Su Miners jersey giveaway. So stop in and enter for your chance to win today.
You know what really gets a party started? Indoor baseball. Yeah, just find a broom or a pool cue, and you can use, like, anything as a ball. Cans, bottles, shoes. Hey, bro, toss me that avocado.
Most party fouls are pretty dumb, but if you decide to drink and drive underage, you could lose your license and your freedom. Underage drinking and driving, the ultimate party foul. Learn more at ultimatepartyfoul.org. Brought to you by the National Highway Traffic Safety Administration and the Ad Council.
This is Ian Churchill, pitcher for the Miners from Santa Barbara City College. Giving a little shout out to all the SB Lokes out there. You're listening to Miners Radio.
Welcome into the second inning of the Top of the World Championship Series between the Bucs and Miners. And as you could have expected in this, which should be a great pitcher's duel, there was no score through the first inning of play, as the 4, 5, 6 batters drew up for the Bucs in Troy Clonch, Jace Vandenbrake, and Brennan Bro. The Bucs, they did get a walk back in the first inning, and then J.C. Correa reached on a fielder's choice, but that inning was ended thanks to a nice pickoff move by Asa Lacey that caught Correa in a jam and then was eventually tagged out. Nevertheless, Troy Clonch stands in from the right side, the catcher from Morgan State, who we mentioned had to miss the final 5 games of the regular season due to concussion precautionary reasons, as he hits one near the line in left field. It'll drop as Danny Wright moves over, has trouble handling it, and due to the cause of the misfielding, Troy Clonch will be into second with a leadoff double. So that'll be the first hit of the ball game for the Bucs, really for the game overall, as it's the now third base runner aboard for Anchorage. That brings up Jace Vandenbrake, the left-handed hitting right fielder from Gonzaga. Vandenbrake in the postseason is 2 of 8 with 2 RBIs, so looks to make it 3 as the corners come in for the Miners. Expecting Vandenbrake be possibly bunting, so Asa Lacey will work out of the stretch for the second straight inning. His first pitch into Vandenbrake, who thought about it but then pulled back a bunt. The count goes 1-0. Mentioned the Miners had to win the final 2 games of last year's Top of the World Championship Series in order to secure a back-to-back title, but they would like to get game 1, as it's always huge winning that first game of any championship series. Lacey misses high yet again. Pinerini after reaching up and grab it. The count is 2 balls and no strikes. Vandenbrake does have a double as one of his 2 hits in the postseason so far, and in the regular season batted .236 and drove in 11. So batting in the 5 spot here, trying to bring in the game's first run. Lacey, his 2-0. This one is tried to bunt, but Vandenbrake skied it foul and actually went all the way behind the press box. So sort of a power bunt from Jace Vandenbrake. And if you remember a few short games ago, Vandenbrake really had an excellent performance in the outfield as he robbed Aaron Walters of a home run and then multiple Miners of big hits. So he came up huge on the defensive side late in the season for the Bucs, and now trying to do it offensively. As Asa Lacey comes set from his chest, takes a look at second, and goes to the plate. Jace Vandenbrake will foul yet another pitch off, so the count moves to 2 balls and 2 strikes with nobody out in the top of the second inning. Troy Clonch stands on second after reaching on a double to begin this inning. So Jace Vandenbrake trying to bring in a run, which would break the tie right now, 0-0. Vandenbrake standing in from the left side, a slightly open stance. Wiggles the bat a bit as Asa Lacey works from the stretch. His 2-2. This one lined straight back up the middle, just barely gets past Asa Lacey, and Drew Swift coming up quickly just in front of second base to grab the ball, and then his throw to first is not in time. So Jace Vandenbrake is on with an infield single, and those back-to-back hits for the Bucs put runners on the corners.
Well, just a series of unfortunate events for Asa Lacey. He gave up a bloop double down the left field line and then a soft line drive right back at him. Unable to make the catch and just not in a place where Drew Swift could make the play. So not hard contact getting against Asa Lacey, but the ball is finding a hole.
And that took a weird sort of shot off the bat off Vandenbrake's bat. It was sort of just a soft liner. Looked like it was going to come out a lot hotter than it did, but it worked. There's runners on first and third for the left-handed hitting Bro, who looks at a strike blown away, 0-1. So the Bucs already threatening here in Game 1 of the Top of the World Championship Series in inning number 2. So Asa Lacey still looking for the first out. He'll take a peek at first, wiggle his glove, take another peek at first, and now go to the plate. This one is hit right back to him, and the play is coming home. So Asa Lacey will actually run down Troy Clonch and then tag him himself. That was a real interesting base running decision there from Troy Clonch. The ball was tapped right back to Asa Lacey, and with no hesitation, Clonch went home.
Well, just for Asa Lacey, that's 6'4", 205 pounds charging right at you. And for Troy Clonch, he didn't want anything of it. He tried to get back to third, but unable to do so. Great athleticism shown by Asa Lacey, just bouncing off the mound and charging right at Troy Clonch.
So it's still mind-boggling on why Clonch went. Just a tapper to the mound, and the bases were not loaded, so that could be a huge base running error for the Bucs. Nevertheless, there's runners on first and second for the second baseman Willie Scala out of the University of Miami, Florida, who looks at a ball low and in around his ankles, 1-0. So there is one out now here in the top of the second inning after Clonch was tagged out. So now there's still a runner in scoring position, but on second instead of third. So Asa Lacey just made a nice defensive play. Pitches in. There is both runners on the move. Pinerini decides to go to second on a late steal as Van Blake tags him out at second. So now there's 2 outs on what are some interesting base running tactics right now for the Bucs.
Well, I don't think they expected Pinerini to throw down to second base, but normally when you're performing a double steal, the first runner, he knows he's going and he's going to take off. The trail runner, which was at first base in Brennan Bro, he has to watch that first runner, and if that runner goes, then he can go. He just doesn't want to get caught in a pickle. But the throw down from Pinerini to get the trail runner was a great job.
As this one is sent out into shallow center field, Drew Swift is moving back from the shortstop position and makes the overhand catch for out number 3. So the Bucs, it looked threatening, but then after some base running cues, the Miners worked their way out of it, so there's still no score after an inning and a half has been played. So we'll go into the bottom of the second inning on the Matsu Miners Radio Network. Matsu Miners Internet Broadcast is sponsored by the Napa Auto Parts of Alaska and owner Jim Ruda. Stop into one of your locally owned and operated Napa Auto Parts of Alaska and ask about a Matsu Miners jersey giveaway. So stop in and enter for your chance to win today.
This is Mario Andretti. You know me as a race car driver, but I'm also a Meals on Wheels volunteer. I've raced against the sport's biggest personalities, but I've never met more vibrant, amazing people than the seniors served by Meals on Wheels. You can make a difference by dropping off a hot meal and saying a quick hello.
This is Kona Quiggle, outfield infield from Grand Canyon University, and you're listening to Matsu Miners Radio.
Welcome back into the bottom of the second inning after some interesting events occurred in the second inning. The Bucs with runners on first and third, nobody out. Troy Clonch then went on a grounder back to the mound. Asa Lacey tapped him out, and then on basically 2 pitches later, they tried a double steal in which Austin Pinerini decided to throw down to second and caught Brennan Bro out. And then Willie Escala flew out on the pitch after for out number 3. So Miners get out of what could have been a huge jam. It's the bottom of the second inning. No score between the Bucs and Miners as Austin Pinerini steps up to the plate from the left side. The Miners were retired in order in the bottom of the first thanks to Adam Seminaris, the left-hander out of Long Beach State, as he delivers a strike on the lower outside corner, 0-1. Pinerini, he's come in these first 2 games of the postseason real hot, 4 of 8, as the next pitch just misses low and outside, 1-0. Pinerini, along with that 4 of 8, also has an RBI and has only struck out once so far in the 2 games, as he batted .269 on the regular season. Seminaris misses low yet again. The count is 2-1. As this is a game between the top 2 run-scoring teams in the ABL, the Miners sit atop at 207, where the Bucs came in second at 181. Seminaris, his next pitch. This one is towered behind home plate. Troy Clonch loses the headgear and moves near the box. Backstop, I should say, and just makes the catch before it hits the chain link fence for out number 1. So there's 1 out now in the bottom of the second inning after the foul ball fly out by Austin Pinerini. It brings up his Gonzaga teammate, Nick Brooks, who steps in from the right side. Brooks is just another one of these Miners hitters that's doing well in the postseason. Really, the heart of the Miners order is doing very well against pitchers, as Brooks now is 3 of 7 with 2 RBIs and 2 strikeouts. Has also walked twice in his first 2 games of the postseason, as Brooks was on this Miners team that won it all last year, so looking to make it happen yet again. But Seminaris trying to work through yet another Miners batter as he takes a long stare in, now delivers to the plate. This one is lined straight back by Brooks, 0-1. So Seminaris, the guy in his last start against the Miners, went 8 innings, no runs allowed, only 2 hits and 6 strikeouts, as he had a perfect game going through the 5th inning before Drew Swift eventually broke it up, as Swift and Quiggle were the only 2 to get hits against Seminaris, as he nails the upper inside corner with a fastball, 0-2. Brooks on the regular season had 12 hits and 47 at-bats and had a .375 on-base percentage. Seminaris next pitch into Brooks. This is a hard ground ball up the middle. Moving over to his left and making the throw on the move is Dimitri Calaccio in time for out number 2. Nice defensive play from Calaccio at short. And that'll bring up Josh Hatcher, the first baseman out of Mississippi State. He'll bat from the left side. And we saw in Game 2 against the Chinooks, Hatcher got hit in the back knee, and he seemed hobbling the rest of the ball game. But since then, at practice yesterday, he was moving just fine, and then walks up to the plate with no struggles today. So 2 outs, bottom of the second inning, no score between the Bucs and the Miners in Game 1 of the Top of the World Championship Series, as Seminaris misses low, 1-0. Josh Hatcher is 3 of 8 so far in 2 games of the postseason. Does have an RBI credited to his name, as he wanted to check his swing, but his strength got the best of him as he went through 1-1. And Hatcher, if you could give him an RBI, we mentioned this in the last broadcast, if you could give him an RBI on base running, you would. He was responsible pretty much for Spencer Henson stealing home, but nevertheless will not get accredited for it, but the Miners with a huge thank you, as he takes a hefty cut at this pitch from Seminaris. He now finds himself down in the count, 1-2.
It was just a very smart baseball play from Josh Hatcher to allow Henson to steal home, and that was the decider of the game.
So Seminaris working 1-2. This pitch is fouled just off the bottom of the lumber by Josh Hatcher as it rolls to the backstop. Will stay at a 1-2 count. Seminaris, a guy that struck out 35 during the regular season, has yet to strike out anyone tonight, but being ahead of Josh Hatcher 1-2, a good opportunity to do so. Seminaris, his 1-2 offering is looked at as it misses low and outside. Troy Klotch with the excellent block. Count goes to 2 balls and 2 strikes. So it's the 5th year for the Miners in the top of the World Championship Series, and it's the 2nd for the Bucs. Both teams now really showing their reign in the ABL. So Seminaris winds, deals, and gets Josh Hatcher swinging through to end the 2nd inning. So it's been essentially not much going on as we have no score through 2 innings of play of Game 1 of the top of the World Championship Series. We'll be right back with inning number 3 on the Matsu Miners Radio Network. Matsu Miners Internet Broadcast is sponsored by the Napa Auto Parts of Alaska and owner Jim Ruda. Stop into one of your locally owned and operated Napa Auto Parts of Alaska and ask about a Matsu Miners jersey giveaway. So stop in and enter for your chance to win today.
Hey y'all, I'm Blake Shelton. I love that country music connects people all over this great nation, but unfortunately so does something else, childhood hunger. 15 million children struggle with hunger in America. That's why the Feeding America nationwide network of food banks works to rescue our surplus food to help provide billions of meals to families in need across the country. Join the fight against hunger at feedingamerica.org. Together, we can solve hunger. Together, we're Feeding America.
Brought to you by Feeding America and the Ad Council.
What's up, guys? This is Spencer Henson, infielder at Oral Roberts University, and you're listening to Matsu Miners Radio.
Inning number 3 at Herman Brothers Field in Palmer, Alaska, as we sit in Game 1 of the top of the World Championship Series between the 2-seed Anchorage Bucs and the number 1 seed and regular season champs Matsu Miners. Mentioned the no score. Great pitching battle going on between Asa Lacey of the Miners and Adam Seminaris of the Bucs, as the Miners look to make it 10 out of their last 11 wins in the playoffs, as their only loss in the past 10 games was in last year's top of the World Championship Series in Game 1 against the Bucs. So the Miners trying to win Game 1 this year, but they'll have to get a run across, as Enos will get things going to begin the 3rd. The switch hitter out of New Mexico State bats in from the right side against the left-handed throwing Asa Lacey, who originally takes a stand on the rubber from the stretch, steps off, regathers himself, and is ready to work now from the wind. His first pitch of the 3rd inning misses high and inside to Logan Enos. Logan Enos, a guy that decides to go without the batting gloves, is so far 2 of 7 in postseason play. Next pitch from Asa Lacey, nice fastball that nails the lower outside corner, 1-1. Enos also with 2 RBIs, has not struck out yet, and 3 walks drawn in this postseason. As Lacey's next pitch is bounced over to the hole between 3rd and short. Drew Swift did a nice job from short, moving over to cut it off, but decided to not make a throw, as Enos does move very well out of the box. So the Bucs, just like last inning, get a runner aboard thanks to a hit.
And again, the Bucs just seem to keep nickeling and diming Asa Lacey. Luckily, in the top of the 2nd inning, no runs came across. Some base running mishaps for the Bucs, but now Lacey has to dial in and try to take back what he's been so good at.
And would like to ground to a possible double play here. Would be huge against the right-handed hitting Calaccio. The shortstop out of Utah looks at a strike on the high outside corner. 0-1. Calaccio, another one of the Bucs hitters, doing well in the postseason. 4-9. Does not have an RBI, but has walked and struck out once, and has also stolen a base. So Lacey, in every inning now, has had to work out of the stretch as he gets ahead in the count to Calaccio, 0-2. Lacey was definitely a strikeout dominant guy during the regular season with 47. Only has the one tonight after striking off the leadoff batter Daniel Fredrickson, but he's ahead in the count now, 0-2. Comes set from his chest. He'll check on first. Now motion to the plate. This one well high and inside to Dimitri Calaccio. Count is now 1 ball and 2 strikes. Calaccio did not have a hit in the final 3 games of the regular season, but has had at least 1 in the first 2 of the postseason, as it was the second time he has had 3 hits in a game in his last game throughout, if you include the regular season and postseason, as Lacey takes a quick step off and then throw over to first, but Enos was back in time, 1-2. Now I would have to imagine the Bucs runner is going to be a lot closer to the bag and not be as tempted to steal now that Asa Lacey has picked off a guy and Austin Pinerini has thrown somebody out.
Well, it's always beneficial when you're a left-hand pitcher because you can keep an eye on that base runner yourself.
The 1-2 pitch into Calaccio is fouled back and over the press box, so we'll stay 1-2. As the Bucs, it was really base running that ran them out of the second inning. Were definitely threatening with runners on the corners and nobody out, but thanks to Troy Klotch being tagged out after a ground ball to first base, and then Pinerini threw somebody out, and then Willie Escala flew out, ended that second inning threat. So Lacey, his 1-2 will not go to the plate. It'll be a check over to first, but Enos, with not a real aggressive lead, gets back in time. Enos did have 6 stolen bases this regular season, has yet to have one in the postseason, as the Bucs are 0 for 1 tonight. As Enos is on the move, Pinarini's throw down's a 1-hopper that'll get by Caleb Van Blake, but nice backup from the center fielder Kona Quiggle, who runs up, and that first stolen base will be in for Logan Enos as he gets over to second in scoring position with nobody out in the top of the 3rd inning.
Well, it's interesting to see the Bucs. They're trying to get on the base paths, and when they are, they're trying to steal and move over. Of course, any baseball team would try to do that, but especially here, it seems like a lot of base running against Asa Lacey.
Well, they know they're probably not going to get too many hits or runners aboard with a guy like Lacey on the mound. So when you do, really put the pressure on him and make him think about other objects of the game than just the batter. So the count is at 2-2 as Calaccio swings at the high cheddar for strike 3 and out number 1 in the top of the 3rd inning. That's the second strikeout for Asa Lacey, as the first man he struck out will now step back up to the plate and left-handed hitting Daniel Fredrickson. As he is Gonzaga teammates with catcher Austin Pinerini, they have a few words before Fredrickson steps in the box. Logan Enos is on second. He reached to lead off the 3rd inning with a base hit and then moved over on a stolen base. Now Fredrickson in at the dish, we mentioned, struck out in his first at-bat in the 1st inning. Lacey takes a check at second, now motions to the plate. His first pitch is thought about by Fredrickson. They check down to 3rd. James Purnell said he did not go, so the count will move to 1-0. Man calling the balls and strikes tonight is Scott Johnston. Over on the first base side is Brad Polk, and over on the third base side is James Purnell. That's your officiating crew for tonight's contest. In Game 1 of the Top of the World Championship Series, the Miners trying to win 3 in a row, and the Bucs are trying to end that streak. But you will not find out in Game 1 as Fredrickson swings at a high fastball, 1-1. Fredrickson, who came into tonight, has had no hits in his past 3 games, now 0 of 14 and only 1 hit in his past 21 at-bats, and has now struck out 6 games in a row for a total of 8 in those past 6 games. Count is 1-1. Lacey with a man on second offers in. He misses high and away with a fastball, 2-1. Lacey with some clear frustration out on the mound, takes a moment to regather himself off the rubber, and now steps back on. So a lefty-on-lefty matchup with 1 out in the top of the 3rd inning. Lacey coming set from his chest. Kicks, deals. This one is swung on and missed. 2-2. Pinerini was unable to gather it, so it'll roll just in front of him. But nevertheless, the count is 2-2 as Drew Swift, the shortstop, will have a chat with his pitcher. Possibly a pickoff move or just giving him some words of advice. Mentioned these were the top 2 teams in the ABL. The Miners finished 27-17. The Bucs finishing 25-19, 2 games behind the Miners, as it all came down to the regular season finale in which the Miners got the better of the Bucs. So Asa Lacey now is set back on the rubber. 2-2's the count with 1 down in the top of the 3rd inning. Lacey's pitch swung on and missed yet again by Daniel Fredrickson, who went at 3 straight fastballs up in the zone for out number 2 in the top of the 3rd inning. Asa was really connecting well with those high fastballs, and then once he noticed he could get Fredrickson to swing, he just kept going after it.
Absolutely, and Asa missing a little bit outside, goes inside and just paints the inside corner, raises the elevation high, went low a couple times. Just a nice job from Lacey and Pianarini to call the balls.
Jake Veith, who walked for his 4th time in the postseason in his first at-bat, now returns to the plate from the left side. As he stands in with 2 outs, a runner on second for the Bucs, as we have yet to see a score in this Game 1 at the top of the World Championship Series, as Jake Veith hits one foul and out of play to the left side. Veith is definitely a guy you'd want in this position, even though there is 2 outs. Drove in 33 runs this season, which tied the Miners' Spencer Henson for best in the ABL. As we mentioned, also, Veith led the league with a .364 batting average. So Lacey, his 1-0 pitch, is thought about by Jake Veith as they check down to James Purnell standing in the second base area. He said he did not go, so the count goes to 1-1 as Asa Lacey was in disagreement talking to James Purnell. Nevertheless, he'll have to toe the rubber with a 1-1 count. As Jake Veith, he has had a hit in 5 of his past 6 games, but he has struck out in the past 4. As Asa Lacey is in search for his 4th punch out. His 1-1 pitch is a high fastball that misses on Jake Veith, 2-1. Veith, an interesting tidbit about him against the Miners this season. 4 times he was no-hit, as he was only hit no-hit 8 times in the regular season. So half of those came against the Miners. So multiple times they've had his number. As Lacey comes set, his 2-1 with a man on the move. Pianarini decides not to throw down as that pitch was inside. It would have been a tough transition. So Logan Enos, with his 2nd stolen base of the night, moves him all the way over to 3rd.
Well, now it's even more critical for Pianarini to keep everything in front of him, block all the balls in the dirt, and just keep on doing what he's doing.
And with a 3-1 count and first base being open, it wouldn't be the worst decision in the world to possibly walk Jake Veith, who has definitely been a stud at the plate all season long, the Silver Slugger. So Lacey's 3-1 gets Veith chasing out a low changeup. The count is full with 2 outs in the top of the 3rd inning. The Bucs have the first run of the ball game only 90 feet away, but Jake Veith only has a strike to work with and also 3 balls on him. So Lacey trying to get out of what another possible threat by the Bucs as he comes set from his chest. Kicks, deals, the payoff pitch will hit Jake Veith high and inside. So the Silver Slugger will reach first on a hit by pitch with 2 outs in the top of the 3rd inning. And really the Bucs, this is their 1-2 punch, their 2 and 3 hitters between Veith and Correa. Correa now stepping up to the plate. He's 5 of 12 in the postseason, now 5 of 13 as he reached on a fielder's choice back in the 1st inning. And before Lacey will face Correa, they'll have a chat with pitching coach Jeff Erlab. Erlab spent multiple years in the Oakland A's minor league organization for hanging it up, and also the head coach at Horizon High School. Was recently appointed that position. So a long conversation with Lacey and Pianarini on how they're going to attack Correa.
And it almost seems like no matter who the pitcher is for the Miners, they always have some kind of trouble with Jake Veith and then J.C. Correa. They spend all their energy trying to get Jake Veith out, then Correa gets what's left over.
Exactly, Correa. He's almost a .500 hitter against the Miners this season, 15 of 37 with 2 RBIs, as he's had 5 hits in his past 2 games against Matsu. So he stands in now with 2 outs, runners on 1st and 3rd for the Bucs, as there is no score in Game 1 between the Bucs and the Miners. Lacey's first pitch is a fastball that misses low and in, 1-0. Mentioned Correa reached on a fielder's choice back in the 1st inning, as Jake Veith was put out on second base. But Lacey just needs 1 out here to get out of the inning. Kicks, deals. This is a chopper over to short. Drew Swift has it. A soft toss over to second. And the Miners are out of yet another jam in the top of the 3rd inning. We've yet to see any runs come across here in Game 1 of the top of the World Championship Series between the Bucs and the Miners, as the Miners step up to the plate in the bottom of the 3rd when we return on the Matsu Miners Radio Network. Matsu Miners Internet broadcast is sponsored by the Napa Auto Parts of Alaska and owner Jim Ruda. Stop into one of your locally owned and operated Napa Auto Parts of Alaska and ask about a Matsu Miners jersey giveaway. So stop in and enter for your chance to win today.
gets a party started? Indoor baseball. Yeah, just find a broom or a pool cue, and you can use like anything as a ball. Cans, bottles, shoes. Hey bro, toss me that avocado.
Most party fouls are pretty dumb, but if you decide to drink and drive underage, you could lose your license and your freedom. Underage drinking and driving, the ultimate party foul. Learn more at ultimatepartyfoul.org. Brought to you by the National Highway Traffic Safety Administration and the Ad Council.
Hey, I'm Tyler Bassetti. I'm from Nevada, Reno, and you're listening to Matsu Miners Baseball.
Bottom of the third inning, no score yet in Game 1 of the top of the World Series between the Bucs and the Miners. As Adam Seminaris toes the rubber, he has set the first 6 batters down for the Miners. As Wright, Bozzetti, and Swift are all due up to 7, 8, 9 hitters in search of the first base runners for Matsu. The Bucs yet again were threatening in the third, had runners on the corners, but with 2 outs, J.C. Correa grounded out to end that threat. So Danny Wright stepping up to the dish. From the right side, the switch hitter out of Southeast Missouri State, the utility player playing left field tonight, but has played a little bit of infield and outfield for the Miners. A nice utility feature. Seminaris, who works from the line, his first pitch in the bottom of the third inning, is fouled off and over to the right side. 0-1 to Danny Wright. So the Miners were the only 3 losses in the final 13 games for the Bucs, as they went 10-3 in that span, but did not win the big one in the regular season finale, as they had to settle for the 2nd seed, even though they made that nice late surge. As Seminaris misses high 1-1, where the Miners, they really played even keeled throughout the most ever since they got that first spot in the ABL. Next pitch from Seminaris misses high 2-1, as the Miners went 5-5 in their final 10 games played, but held on to first, and here we are between the first and 2nd seed at Herman Brothers Field in Palmer. Seminaris, his next pitch is 2-1, misses outside to Danny Wright, so after Wright fouled the first pitch off, he has looked at 3 straight balls. Wright has yet to draw a walk in the postseason, but drew 11 in the regular season. So Seminaris, his hitter's count pitch, just hits the upper outside corner, 3-2. So it's a 3-2 count to the leadoff man, Danny Wright, in the bottom of the third inning. No score yet between the top 2 scoring teams in the ABL. As Danny Wright fouls yet another one off, he stays alive at 3-2. And also, you should expect a lot of strikeouts, as these were the top 2 strikeout teams in the ABL, combining for 690 in the regular season. But Seminaris working his payoff pitch. Misses low. Danny Wright's aboard, and the Miners get their face runner aboard thanks to a walk on Danny Wright. Adam Seminaris is highly disappointed in that call, as he took about 3 backsteps off the mound, and it was almost karma because he tripped over a little bit, the little cleat cleaner. So that may have not been the best look for him, but he'll have to work out of the stretch for the first time tonight, face the right-handed hitting Tyler Bozzetti, the third baseman from the University of Nevada, Reno. So Wright is on first. Seminaris out of the stretch. His first pitch into Bozzetti is an attempted bunt, as it just was a pop-up into the glove of Adam Seminaris, who made the nice catch coming off the mound for out number 1.
Well, the Miners are lucky there, and lucky in a way that Danny Wright did not take off as soon as the bunt was put around. Should Wright have taken off, that would have been a double play.
So with 1 out, that'll bring up Drew Swift, the right-hand hitting shortstop from Arizona State. Swift played in every single game of the regular season and has played now in all 3 of the postseason. So talk about durability. Drew Swift has been the go-to man, especially in the defensive side of things. Was the Gold Glove winner this year in the ABL. So Seminaris with 1 out. His first pitch into Swift is a dribbler over to third. Correa has it. His throw to second in time. The relay to first is not. So the Bucs will only get 1. And that'll be 2 outs now in the bottom of the third inning, as Drew Swift reaches on a fielder's choice. And it is so hard to get Swift, especially on a ball to third in a double play situation.
Absolutely. For Swift, only had 2 double plays during the season that he's hit into, and those were just, ground balls right back up the middle. Second baseman steps on 2 and throws over to first.
So with 2 outs, Conan Quiggle will step up to the plate, and this has kind of been a dangerous duo whenever Swift reaches in the 9th spot and then the leadoff man Quiggle reaches. Prime example was in Game 1 of the postseason for the Miners. Kona hit a 2-run home run for the first 2 runs of the postseason for Matsu. So Quiggle looking to do similar things here as he is 0 for 1 tonight after grounding out to the shortstop Calaccio in his first at-bat. Seminaris checked on Swift originally, now goes to the plate, and Kona Quiggle rips one down the line to right. It'll go all the way into right field as Drew Swift is on the move over to third, and the Miners will now have runners on first and third before the throw in from Vandenbrake gets to second base. And Connor, wouldn't say I want to call it, but that dangerous combo of Swift and Quiggle keeps on keeping on.
Yes, it does, and Kona Quiggle just didn't have the at-bat he wanted to in the first one, made the adjustments in the second at-bat through the second time around since Seminaris, and just rips the single down the right field line.
Kona Quiggle with that hit now extends his hit streak to 5 if you include the regular season. So has done an excellent job in that leadoff spot and has continued to do so tonight as the Miners are now the ones threatening in the bottom of the third with no score in this first game at the top of the World Championship Series. But they'll have to do all their work with 2 outs as Caleb Van Blake, the left-handed hitting second baseman, steps up to the dish. So Seminaris working from the stretch takes a look at first. Long look at first, now kick steals to the plate. Nice breaking pitch that nails the inside portion of the plate to Van Blake. Van Blake flew out to left in his first at-bat, but in the regular season batted .275 with a .412 on-base percentage. So Van Blake looking to drive in his first run of the postseason if he can knock in a base hit. So Seminaris from the stretch, his next pitch just misses outside. The count is 1-1. Swift on third, and Kona Quiggle is on first. Swift got on a fielder's choice, and then Kona Quiggle just had the nice base hit. That moves Swift all the way over to third. So Swift definitely has the speed. Will be going on any crack of the bat with 2 outs. Adam Seminaris kicks and then throws over to first, but Quiggle not a real aggressive lead, not trying to be that third out on the base paths, as the count is 1 ball and 1 strike. Caleb Van Blake did have 9 extra base hits in the regular season. As we mentioned, 1 is not necessary right now to drive in a run. This pitch into Van Blake as he kind of loops it into right field, but will have too much under it as Jace Vandenbrake makes the catch for out number 3. So Adam Seminaris, after he has put some pressure on, gets out of it in the 3rd inning as we have no score through the first 3 innings of play. And I'll toss it over to my partner Connor Mills for the middle innings on the Matsu Miners Radio Network. Matsu Miners Internet broadcast is sponsored by the Napa Auto Parts of Alaska and owner Jim Ruda. Stop into one of your locally owned and operated Napa Auto Parts of Alaska and ask about a Matsu Miners jersey giveaway. So stop in and enter for your chance to win today.
And the Ad Council.
Hi guys, Drew Swift, infielder from Arizona State University, and you're listening to Matsu Miners Radio.
Top of the 4th inning will begin just like the top of the 2nd inning. Troy Clouch, Jace Vandenbrake, and Brennan Bro all due up here in the top of the 4th against Asa Lacey. Lacey has been able to work out of trouble since the 2nd inning. No runs allowed, even with the runner moving as far as third base against him. Lacey, first batter, Troy Clouch. Clouch got on base with a double his last time up, and then was chased down by Asa Lacey, running down the third base line. Clouch trying to score on a ground ball right back to Lacey, and Lacey being able to use his athleticism to chase him down to get the first out in the top of the 2nd inning, and we'll have to get Troy Clouch out here in the top of the 4th. First pitch from Lacey into Clouch is taken in for a called strike, 0-1. Clouch during the regular season, 14 hits and 50 at-bats, batted .280, had 3 RBIs, 3 walks, and struck out 9 times. As Lacey's 0-1 is delivered, swung on and missed by Troy Clouch. Asa Lacey quickly ahead in the count, no balls and 2 strikes with nobody out and no score between the Miners and the Bucs. Lacy looks into Pianarini, has his sign, and pitches from the windup. The 0-2, a breaking ball that hits the outside corner, strike 3 called. Beautiful bender from Asa Lacy to get the first out here in the top of the 4th inning.
And that's got to feel good for Lacy. The past 2 innings, he's allowed the first runner on. So to get that first out, especially with a strikeout looking, means that you have your confidence back and you're ready to go through the rest of the order.
Lacy looking to give the Miners some distance and some more scoreless innings. As I'm sure a lot of pitchers are ready and raring to go, but Lacy, it's his job to get through 6, maybe 7, as this one is swung on and found straight back by Jace Vandenbrake, 0-1. Vandenbrake on the day had a single, reached third base, did not score. That, of course, happened in the top of the 2nd inning as we are here in the top of the 4th. 0-1 the count to Jace Vandenbrake with 1 out. Nobody on the base paths as Asa Lacy winds and deals, misses low and away for ball 1. 1 ball and 1 strike is the count to Jace Vandenbrake. And for Vandenbrake, more known for his defense out in right field. As Brad said a couple innings ago, over at Mulcahy Stadium, Vandenbrake was all over the place as a 1-1 is taken inside ball 2. Vandenbrake robbing a home run from Aaron Walters and taking a couple extra base hits away from a few other Mat-Su Miners in that game. No plays like that from Vandenbrake yet today, but still a lot more baseball to play as he swings and fouls one off towards the left side. 2 balls and 2 strikes is the count with 1 out in the top of the 4th inning.
You got to wonder what Lacy's going to bring with the 2 strikes. Doesn't really have that go-to strikeout pitch yet today with only 4 of them through the first 4 innings. Normally he locks in with 2 strikes, so going to be interesting to see what he deals.
2 balls and 2 strikes. Lacy from the windup. He's ready and deals a breaking ball that just breaks inside to Jace Vandenbrake, much to the displeasure of Lacy and the Mat-Su Miners fans underneath us here at Herman Brothers Field.
Both pitchers showing a lot of frustration to the strike zone today from Scott Johnson, but he's been consistent with it, so they'll have to roll with it.
The payoff pitch, checked his swing. Did he go? James Purnell at third base said he did not. It's another walk allowed to Jace Vandenbrake. First walk since the top of the 1st inning, where Jake Veith was the first walk. Second walk, Jace Vandenbrake here in the top of the 4th. With 1 runner on, Brandon Bro will come to the plate, and Bro grounded into a fielder's choice his first time up and was caught stealing, was a trail runner when Troy Clounch stole third base. As now the first pitch is swung on and popped up just behind us here at the press box, 0-1.
And for Asa Lacy right now, you can't let your frustration get the best of you. You have to settle in. You may not be happy with the strike zone no matter what the pitch is called, but you just have to roll and trust your guts because you've been pitching so well all season. Where the strike zone is at today shouldn't much matter.
0-1 the count. Asa Lacy pitching to Brennan Bro. The 0-1 is taken in for a ball, 1 ball and 1 strike. Bro was a hero in Game 1 against the Peninsula Oilers. That game reached the 12th inning, and in the bottom of the 12th, Brennan Bro, with the bases loaded, hit an RBI single to give the Bucs a 1-0 victory over the Oilers in Game 1. As now he watches that fastball, maybe just a bit high, maybe a bit low, not too sure. As that's a ball, 2 balls and 1 strike.
And now Lacy has resorted to talking to second base umpire James Purnell about the strike zone.
Anybody but the home plate umpires. A 2-1 swung on and bounced over into foul territory. Pitcher Ian Churchill pops out from the dugout, then returns to his seat as he'll toss the ball over the fence. 2 balls and 2 strikes. Now the count from Asa Lacy into Brennan Bro.
Lacy last time he gets Vandenbrake a lefty, he went with that inside breaking ball but didn't get the call. So it's going to be interesting to see if he goes with it again to try to get the call this time.
The 2-2 from Lacy. Swung on, ground ball over towards first. Josh Hatcher has it, throws to the second for 1. The turn is in time. Double play. Asa Lacy popped off the mound to run to first base to catch the ball, and the return throw from Drew Swift. It's a 3-6-1 double play to end the top of the 4th inning. No score for the Anchorage Bucs as the Mat-Su Miners have come to the plate in the bottom of the 4th inning. Head coach Ken Hokoff not happy with the call, but he'll have to deal with it as we are headed to the bottom of the 4th. You're listening to the Matsu Miners on the Miner Radio.
Matsu Miners Internet broadcast is sponsored by the Napa Auto Parts of Alaska and owner Jim Ruda. Stop into one of your locally owned and operated Napa Auto Parts of Alaska and ask about a Matsu Miners jersey giveaway. So stop in and enter for your chance to win today.
This is Mario Andretti. You know me as a race car driver, but I'm also a Meals on Wheels volunteer. I've raced against the sport's biggest personalities, but I've never met more vibrant, amazing people than the seniors served by Meals on Wheels. You can make a difference by dropping off a hot meal and saying a quick hello. So, America, let's do lunch. Volunteer your lunch break at americaletsdolunch.org.
It's Josh Hatcher here, infield outfield from Mississippi State University, and you're listening to Matsu Miners Radio.
Great defense coming from Josh Hatcher and Drew Swift, aided by pitcher Asa Lacey to end things in the top of the fourth inning. It's in the bottom of the fourth inning right now. Miners Bucs still held scoreless. Adam Seminaris on the mound and Spencer Henson at the plate. Due up in the inning, Henson, Pinarini, and Nick Brooks. First pitch into Spencer Henson is a swing and a drive deep out into left field. Running back is Daniel Fredrickson at the wall. He hops, but it's gone. Home run, Spencer Henson. Big bat number 35, Spencer Henson breaks the scoreless game here in the bottom of the fourth inning. It's the Matsu Miners 1, the Anchorage Bucs 0.
That was a smash from Spencer Henson. And what a way to get the first run across in Game 1. That's a statement run for the Matsu Miners right there. That could be huge for the rest of the game.
Spencer Henson getting the job done with the bat yet again for the Matsu Miners. He's been doing so all season long, had 7 home runs during the regular season, tacked on his first here in the postseason. Miners 1, Bucs 0, and now Seminaris will pitch to Austin Pinarini. A breaking ball hits the outside portion of the zone for strike 1. 1 pitch and a home run here in the bottom of the fourth inning. Henson breaks the tie as now the 0-1 is grounded over towards J.C. Correa. He juggles it a little bit but is able to recover for the first out in the bottom of the fourth. Pinarini retired on a ground ball to third for the first out.
And also with that home run, it really got the crowd into it. They were kind of quiet throughout the first few innings, not much to cheer for, but that definitely engaged them once again.
Nick Brooks now at the plate. Brooks 0 for 1 today, grounded out to short in his first at-bat. Batted .255 during the regular season. Had a home run of his own, and also has a home run this postseason. As a first pitch from Seminaris into Brooks is swung on and missed for strike 1. 0-1 the count to Nick Brooks. For Brooks against the Bucs this season, has 3 hits and 16 at-bats. Good for a 188 average. As he watches this one bounce into the dirt, Troy Clonch recovers it. 1-1. Brooks 1 RBI, 2 walks, and 7 strikeouts to the Anchorage Bucs pitching staff. As opposed to the season, a .255 average, 7 RBIs. As this one is roped down into left field for a base hit. Henson led things off with a home run. Pinarini grounded out, but now Nick Brooks with 1 out here in the bottom of the fourth inning has a 1-out single, and now Josh Hatcher strolls up to the plate.
And the Miners have really not necessarily relied, but I've seen a lot of production out of the 3, 4, 5 hitters in these first 2 playoff games, and it is showing here and why. Henson with the big home run, and then Nick Brooks with a solid base hit.
There's 1 out here in the bottom of the fourth inning. Nick Brooks on first, and at the plate is Josh Hatcher. First pitch swinging is Hatcher. He fouls it straight back at the fence for a count. No balls and 1 strike. On deck is Danny Wright, as there's only one out here in the bottom of the fourth. Miners lead the Bucs 1-0. Hatcher struck out, was the first strikeout of the day, and only strikeout for Adam Seminaris. And that last ball missed outside, 1-1.
It's good to see the Miners get to Seminaris. They struggled so much in the last game, and especially getting that first run, in which a game could be runs coming out of premium because of the two starters today. The Miners, it's important to get that lead and then roll with it.
And, of course, the Miners being no hit by Adam Seminaris until the fifth inning where Drew Swift got a base hit. But now Miners don't need to worry about that. 1 run on 3 hits, no errors for the Mat-Su Miners. No runs, 3 hits, and no errors for the Anchorage Bucs. It's the bottom of the fourth inning. Seminaris pitch into Josh Hatcher, hits the low and outside corner of the plate. 1 ball and 2 strikes now.
Now the fans show their displeasement of the strike zone, so really not a lot of happy campers when it comes to the balls and strikes today.
Well, we haven't seen that portion of the plate being called a strike as of late. Strike zone might have just expanded by a hair. Nonetheless, 1 ball, 2 strikes is the count with 1 out, bottom of the fourth. Seminaris' pitch into Hatcher gets him swinging. The second strikeout on the day for Seminaris. Second time Hatcher has gone down on strikes. Now there are 2 outs here in the bottom of the fourth. 1 run is in thanks to Spencer Henson. A solo shot to begin things here in the bottom of the fourth. Nick Brooks has a single. He's waiting on first base. And now Danny Wright is at the plate. Wright walked in his first at-bat in the bottom of the third inning. As now this is his second trip to the plate as he watches this one go inside and low. A good block from Troy Claunch. 1 ball, no strikes. Claunch calling time, and Seminaris wants another ball. Might have lost his grip on the other one, not sure why, but he wants a new one. 1 ball, no strikes is the count into Danny Wright, switch hitter out of Southeast Missouri. The 1-0 from Seminaris swung on, a line drive right to second baseman Willie Escala, who makes a sliding grab for the third and final out in the bottom of the fourth. But not before the Mat-Su Miners finally break the scoreless game. Spencer Henson solo home run to begin things here in the bottom of the fourth. It's the Miners 1, Bucs nothing. Game headed into the top of the fifth. You're listening to the Mat-Su Miners on the Miner Radio.
Mat-Su Miners Internet broadcast is sponsored by the Napa Auto Parts of Alaska and owner Jim Ruda. Stop into one of your locally owned and operated Napa Auto Parts of Alaska and ask about a Mat-Su Miners jersey giveaway. So stop in and enter for your chance to win today.
Let'sDoLunch.org.
This message brought to you by Meals on Wheels America and the Ad Council.
This is Mario Andretti. You know me as a race car driver, but I'm also a Meals on Wheels volunteer. I've raced against the sport's biggest personalities, but I've never met more vibrant, amazing people than the seniors served by Meals on Wheels. You can make a difference by dropping off a hot meal and saying a quick hello. So, America, let's do lunch. Volunteer your lunch break at americaletsdolunch.org.
This message brought to you by Meals on Wheels America and the Ad Council.
This is Kona Quiggle, outfield infield from Grand Canyon University, and you're listening to Mat-Su Miners Radio.
Second baseman number 4, Willie Escala.
Top of the fifth inning, Asa Lacey finally has a lead. Finally, there is a score in this game as the Miners lead the Anchorage Bucs 1-0 in Game 1 of the Top of the World Championship Series. First pitch is taken outside by Willie Escala. Escala ending the bottom of the fourth inning, making a nice sliding grab off the bat of Danny Wright, but not before Spencer Henson had a solo home run to put the Miners on top. Second pitch missed again. 2 balls, no strikes, a count to Willie Escala. Escala ended the threat in the top of the second when he flew out to center field as he pops this one up, but that will go out of play and foul. 2 balls and 1 strike, nobody out here in the top of the fifth inning. And just to speak about Spencer Henson, he's been there all season long for the Miners. There's a lot of ball game left to play, but Henson putting the Miners on top for now. As this one is swung on and fouled straight back. 2 balls and 2 strikes. Here's the count from Asa Lacy to Willie Escala.
You're exactly right, partner. More times than not, the first run is almost as important as the final run in the game, and especially in a big game like this, you want to be playing in front.
The 2-2 swung on, line drive over. James Purnell, the third base umpire, he ducks and then kind of just points into the foul territory direction. He appears to be okay. Shows some athleticism, moving out of the way. Count remains at 2 balls and 2 strikes to Escala.
He definitely heard the zip of that line drive going right by his head. Luckily for the Miners, it wasn't foul territory.
The 2-2 swung on, and another foul ball off the bat of Willie Escala. Escala making the Matsu Miners pitcher Asa Lacy work a little bit here in the top of the 5th inning. Miners getting to 7 errors in the bottom of the 4th. Bucs looking to respond. Lacy looking to set it down as a swing and a miss from Willie Escala. The throw down to complete the strikeout is completed by Austin Pianarini. 5th strikeout on the day for Asa Lacy. First time he's gotten Willie Escala to go down on strikes, as that's the first out in the top of the 5th.
That's such a pretty pitch from Asa Lacy. That thing breaks almost 12-6 and then out of the zone. And as a hitter, it looks so nice. And then when you realize you're swinging, it's going to be nowhere near where you thought it was.
First ball misses high and inside to Logan Enos, 1-0. Escala 0 for 2 on the day, as he was just struck out by Asa Lacy. Fastball hits the outside corner. 1 ball and 1 strike is the count to Logan Enos. And for Enos, singled, stole second base, and he stole third base, but did not come around to score, as a 1-1 is taking this one too far outside. 2 balls and 1 strike.
And this is so important in these parts of the game to Lacy to keep moving through, because this is almost when the bullpens are almost brought into action.
2-1 taken outside on the corner. 2 balls and 2 strikes. We're right back where we started with Willie Escala. 2-2 the count with 1 out here in the top of the 5th inning. It's the Miners 1, Bucs nothing. Lacy from the windup deals. This one a breaking ball that misses well inside. Breaks around Logan Enos. 3 balls and 2 strikes. The count is run full to Logan Enos.
Enos did a great job of watching what happened in Escala's at-bat and then held off on the breaking pitch.
The 3-2 pitch taken outside for ball 4. Asa Lacy not happy with the call, but now we have to pitch to Dimitri Calaccio with Logan Enos on first base. He gets on with his first walk of the day, and for Asa Lacy, second walk allowed on the evening.
I mentioned Lacy just can't get frustrated with the zone. Its calls are going to be what they are. Just believe in your pitches and good things will come.
Asa is a competitor on the mound. He wants to win every pitch, but sometimes a pitch does not go where he wants to throw it, as he checks over on Enos. Dimitri Calaccio at the plate. Calaccio struck out swinging his first at-bat. A .242 batter for the Bucs, as he swings and lifts this one up right side. Josh Hatcher moving into foul territory on the rocks, ranging near the fence to make the backhand grab. Great awareness from Josh Hatcher to get the Miners to second out here in the top of the 5th inning. Hatcher, great play.
Yeah, it really was. That's a huge defensive play, because who knows what would have happened if Calaccio keeps hitting. You got to make Lacy work a little more, so that's a pitch saver. And also, it gets an out, which is always huge when you're a defender.
Well, the out is more important now that Daniel Fredrickson is at the plate. On deck is Jake Veith. Asa Lacy trying to get Daniel Fredrickson here. A big out to get as the first pitch misses low and inside for ball 1. Fredrickson has struck out twice in this ball game. Struck out in the 1st and 3rd, both times swinging. There's a runner on first base, and Logan Enos, he reached base via the walk, as now there are 2 outs in the top of the 5th inning. Miners up 1-0 as Fredrickson swings and fouls one straight off of the Herman Brothers press box here in Palmer, Alaska. As a courtesy, PA man Wolfgang Winter says, you break it, you buy it. This is an expensive box to buy.
Really is.
One of the best press boxes, probably the best in the entire Alaskan Baseball League. As a 1-1 is swung on and found straight back, this time hits the fence. 1 ball and 2 strikes is the count to Daniel Fredrickson.
And if you're Lacey, you got to be confident heading into this pitch. You've struck out Fredrickson already twice tonight, so you know exactly what you want to give him to get him to possibly swing through or look at a pitch.
Runner on first, top of the 5th inning, 2 outs. The 1-2 pitch from Asa Lacey misses high for ball 2. 2-2, the count is now at. And again, standing on deck is the big 2-2, Jake Veith.
Excellent poise from Fredrickson. He swung at that high fastball multiple times, so good job of holding off.
2 balls and 2 strikes. Lacey's breaking ball misses low and in for ball 3. Now Asa Lacey, it has to be going through his mind. He has to get Daniel Fredrickson before Jake Veith comes to the plate. Veith has reached base twice today. A walk in the first and a hit by pitch in the third. The count is full with 2 outs in the top of the 5th. The 3-2. Taken for a called strike 3. Top of the 5th is over. Asa Lacey throws a fastball right by a bystander in Daniel Fredrickson, as that's the 3rd out in the inning. It's the Miners 1, Bucs nothing, as we're headed to the bottom of the 5th inning. You're listening to the Matsu Miners on the Miner Radio.
Matsu Miners Internet Broadcast is sponsored by the Napa Auto Parts of Alaska and owner Jim Ruda. Stop into one of your locally owned and operated Napa Auto Parts of Alaska and ask about a Matsu Miners jersey giveaway. So stop in and enter for your chance to win today.
Feeding America and the ad.
Hey y'all, I'm Blake Shelton. I love that country music connects people all over this great nation, but unfortunately so does something else, childhood hunger. 15 million children struggle with hunger in America. That's why the Feeding America nationwide network of food banks works to rescue our surplus food to help provide billions of meals to families in need across the country. Join the fight against hunger at feedingamerica.org. Together, we can solve hunger. Together, we're feeding America.
Brought to you by Feeding America and the Ad Council.
This is Aaron Walters from Texas A&M University. I'm a catcher, infielder, and you're listening to Matsu Miners Radio.
Leading things off in the bottom of the 5th inning, Tyler Bassetti. Due up in the bottom of the 5th, Bassetti, Drew Swift, and Kona Quiggle. Bassetti laid down a bunt, popped it straight back to the pitcher, Adam Sevenaris, who is still on the mound for his 5th inning of work. As the first pitch into Bassetti is a breaking ball that hits the zone for strike 1. A nice cutter it looked like from Adam Sevenaris for the first strike.
Yeah, Sevenaris just has that laundry list of pitches and that you're looking at in a starting pitcher.
Second pitch misses low and inside. Nice block by the catcher, Troy Clounch. 1 ball and 1 strike with nobody out here in the bottom of the 5th inning. It's the Matsu Miners 1, Anchorage Bucs nothing. Miners getting their only run on a solo home run in the bottom of the 4th from Spencer Henson. The 1-1 is swung on and popped up towards the right side, but that's slicing foul and out of play. Count to Tyler Bassetti. Sevenaris' pitch swung on and missed for strike 3. Bassetti down on strikes for the first out in the bottom of the 5th inning.
That was a nice two-seamer that started high and away and then just kept sailing out the way that Tyler Bassetti just couldn't hold himself from hitting.
Drew Swift now at the plate, grounded into a fielder's choice his first time up. Put out on the play was Danny Wright, who walked. Swift was able to just get to first, or get to third base, as he swings and fouls one straight back off the press box. No balls and 1 strike. Swift got to third on a Kona Quiggle single, but that's as far as he would go. No balls, 1 strike, and 1 out in the bottom of the 5th inning. Sevenaris' pitch is a off-speed pitch taken in for a called strike. 2 straight strikes is the count to Drew Swift. Sevenaris, the long look in from the windup. His pitch Swung on, ground ball over towards second baseman Willie Escala, who has it. The throw is in time for the second out in the bottom of the 5th inning. Now Kona Quiggle, it'll be his turn to come to the plate. And for Quiggle, had a single off of Semineros in his last at-bat in the bottom of the 3rd. Kona again batted .309, was a first-team All-ABL player this season. Found a position for him out in the outfield. As the first pitch from Semineros into Kona Quiggle is taken inside for ball 1.
And it's so important for Kona or Caleb Van Blake, or both really, to get on base for the big hitters in the heart of the order for the Miners.
Second pitch is taken just a bit high and maybe a little bit outside. 2 straight balls to begin the at-bat to Kona Quiggle, 2-0. And for Kona against the Anchorage Bucs, batting .317, 13 hits and 41 at-bats. Doesn't have an RBI as he watches this one go low and away for ball 3. 3-0 the count to Kona Quiggle from Adam Semineros. And for Quiggle, has walked 4 times against the Bucs, but struck out 7. As he'll look to get on base here. The 3-0 taken all the way. This one finds the strike zone, 3 balls and 1 strike.
Kona, it's important here. You're getting into the later part of the game with Semineros. Really work them.
The 3-1 is swung on and fouled off towards first base coach Tyler LeBrun. So I'll go down near the Miners bullpen. Full count now to Kona Quiggle with 2 outs in the bottom of the 5th inning. Miners 1, Bucs nothing. Miners 1 run on 3 hits. Bucs no runs on 3 hits as well. Both teams do not have an error. As the 3-2 is swung on, line drive out into right field, ranging over is Jace Vanderbrink. He won't be able to get it, but he cuts it off. A hard turn from Kona Quiggle at first. He'll hold as the throw is on 1 hop to the shortstop, Dimitri Calaccio. It's a 1-out, 2-out single for Kona Quiggle.
Back-to-back hits for Kona Quiggle, and he's done a nice job of really timing it up on Semineros and then driving it into his pull side. They've just been really nice liners, and then just a little bit of a bloop right there, but still huge. And if Van Blake can get on before the heart of the order comes up for the Miners, that would be a real great advantage.
Cal Van Blake now at the plate looking to reach base for his first time today. Van Blake flew out to left field, also flew out to right field in his 2 trips to the plate. It's the 3rd time right now as he takes the first pitch for a ball, 1-0. There are 2 outs here in the bottom of the 5th inning. Kona Quiggle reached base with a 2-out single. He's on first. Adam Semineros pitching to the lefty, Caleb Van Blake. Swung on and fouled straight back at the fence. 1 ball and 1 strike. 1-1 the count. Semineros to Caleb Van Blake. Should Van Blake extend the inning, on deck is Spencer Henson. Semineros looks over at first. Now at the plate, he works it. Swing and a fly ball out into left center field. Center fielder Brennan Bro is there, makes 1-hand grab to retire the side. The Mat-Su Miners only get 1 hit here in the bottom of the 5th inning. Kona Quiggle singled. Well, that's it, as the Mat-Su Miners still hold a 1-0 lead over the Anchorage Bucs as we're headed into the top of the 6th inning. You're listening to the Mat-Su Miners on the Miner Radio.
Mat-Su Miners Internet broadcast is sponsored by the Napa Auto Parts of Alaska and owner Jim Ruda. Stop into one of your locally owned and operated Napa Auto Parts of Alaska and ask about a Mat-Su Miners jersey giveaway. So stop in and enter for your chance to win today.
Meals on Wheels America and the Ad Council.
This is Ian Churchill, pitcher for the Miners from Santa Barbara City College. Giving a little shout out to all the SB Lokes out there. You're listening to Miners Radio.
Ian Churchill was a winning pitcher 2 days ago against the Chugach Eagle River Chinooks to place the Miners where they are right now in the top of the World Championship Series. Churchill 8-0 on the season, 7 wins coming in the regular season, 8 wins if you combine the two. Jake Veith will lead things off here in the top of the 6th inning. He'll be Veith, J.C. Correa, and Troy Clonch. A big out for Asa Lacey to get and Daniel Fredrickson to end the top of the 5th as this pitch sails high and in over the head of Jake Veith as he bends out of the way. Just a little control issue, nobody thrown at anybody, as the Miners only have a 1-0 lead.
And you definitely want to waste a pitch by intentionally hitting someone, especially at a point in the ball game like this.
The 1-0 is outside, 2 balls and no strikes with nobody out here in the top of the 6th inning. Asa Lacey been pretty good through 5, trying to get through 6 right now. The 2-0 swung on and popped up towards the left side. That'll go out of play. Miners again, the only run coming off of a Spencer Henson solo home run. That's where they find ourselves now. Miners 1, Bucs nothing. Asa Lacey trying to get a big out here, and Jake Veith. The 2-1 is taken inside. 3 balls and 1 strike is a count to Veith, and on deck is J.C. Correa. Correa has been a Miners killer over the past couple games.
Yeah, they really have, and for Lacey, you just can't fall behind accounts to a guy like Jake Veith.
3-1 taken just a bit high. Lacey didn't think so, but he'll have to deal with it because Jake Veith trotting towards first, and now J.C. Correa coming to the plate. Correa, Asa Lacey has gotten the better of him twice, grounded into 2 fielders' choices. One of them to get the 3rd out of the inning back in the top of the 1st. Another one to end things in the top of the 3rd, as this one is swung on. Line drive over Drew Swift at short. They'll get down into the outfield for a base hit. Everyone here at Herman Brothers knew that J.C. Correa would not be held quiet for long, as now the first 2 batters have reached base for the Anchorage Bucs here in the top of the 6th inning. There are no outs with Troy Clonch at the plate.
And exactly, you're going to know that Veith and Correa, they're going to have their days, but the question becomes, what are they going to do when they get a hit or get on base? So far, Veith only 3 walks on base. That's not bad at all. And then Correa, the 2 fielder's choice, and then a single. So now they're just runners on 1st and 2nd. So you brush it off, and then you focus on the rest of the order.
Again, runners are on 1st and 2nd with nobody out here in the top of the 6th inning. Pitching coach Jeff Erlab is now on the mound. He pats Asa Lacey on the chest. A game plan is set as he begins to walk off now.
And he's telling Asa those are the best 2 batters in this Bucs lineup by far. They do it game in and game out, especially against the Miners. So unfortunately, you don't get them out. So what? Move on. Focus on the runners behind them and the batters in front of them. And Lacey has done a great job of that tonight.
Troy Clonch at the plate, struck out looking to begin things in the top of the 4th. But before that, in the top of the 2nd, had a double and then was chased down by Lacey for the 1st out in the 2nd. There's nobody out here in the top of the 6th. Infield is in double play position. Corners are in. Middle infield is back. Asa Lacey looks back Jake Veith at 2nd base as to make sure he doesn't get too big of a lead. Again, Troy Clonch 0 for 2 on the day. The first pitch is delivered outside for ball 1. 1 ball, no strikes, and nobody out with runners on 1st and 2nd base. Outfield is playing Troy Clonch straight away. Infield, again, double play depth. There is a man warming up in the Miners bullpen. Looks to be number 12, Nathan Bach. The 1-0 is taken high from Asa Lacey. 2 straight balls since the mound meeting from pitching coach Jeff Erlab.
And if there was any thought of a possible bunt by Troy Clonch, the Bucs were in a similar position like this, with runners on 1st and 2nd, the runner on 2nd and Veith was thrown out at 3rd, so I would have to imagine that the bunt is not a thought right now.
2 balls and no strikes. Lacey's pitch is taken high and away. 3 straight balls from Asa Lacey into Troy Clouch. The wheels are shaking a little bit. They haven't fallen off yet. But one more pitch and the bases could be loaded. 3 balls, no strikes, and nobody out to begin things here on the top of the 6th inning. Jake Veith received a walk. J.C. Correa got on base with a hit. And now the 3-0 is taken on the outside corner for a called strike to Troy Clouch. 3-1.
Big pitch right there from Asa Lacey. Missed on 3 straight fastballs high, but then having the courage to go back with yet another fastball in the zone is pretty clutch.
Lacey trying to pitch around the strike zone to Troy Clouch without giving up a hit. As the count is at 3 balls and 1 strike. 2 runners on base. Top of the 6th inning. Nobody out. 3-1 is swung on and popped up. Lacey now has 2 strikes on Clouch, but 3 balls to go with them.
And that's why Jeff Verlab, Ben Taylor, they trust Asa Lacey after giving up 2 straight base runners. Even fell behind 3-0, but came back with 2 nice pitches.
The count is full. 3 balls, 2 strikes, and nobody out. Asa Lacey, big breath, and the pitch is swung on, and this one is flown out towards the first base side and ranging into foul territory. A foul ball off the bat of Troy Clouch. Giving chase was Josh Hatcher, trying to do what he did earlier in the game, making a nice backhand catch along the fence, but ran out of room, could not do so. And now Troy Clouch is still alive at the plate. Count is full. 3 balls and 2 strikes. Jake Veith is on second base. J.C. Correa on first. Veith with a walk. Correa with a hit. Asa Lacey 3-2 to Troy Clouch. Looks into Austin Pinarini for the sign. He's got it from the stretch. A look back to second. Now at the plate. The 3-2. Swung on and missed. Strike 3. A big strikeout from the big lefty in Asa Lacey.
And Troy Clouch is very mad at himself right now. Another high fastball from Asa Lacey, a pitch he missed with 3 times, but very interesting that he went back to it there and it worked out, and Clouch bit the treat that was thrown in front of him.
A big out to get from Asa Lacey. Lacey getting Troy Clouch to strike out for the first out in the top of the 6th inning. The threat is not over. Jace Vanderbrake and Brendan Bro have yet to come to the plate, as now the first pitch is swung on, and it's a looper over towards shortstop Drew Swift. He ranges in and makes a catch. Infield's fly rule was called by third base umpire James Purnell, so that would have been an out either way should Swift have caught it or not. He does catch it, as now there are 2 outs with runners on first and second base here in the top of the 6th inning. Asa Lacey trying to pull a rabbit out of his hat to get out of this top of the 6th.
Real interesting, Vanderbrake went on the first pitch right there after Troy Clouch worked a real long at-bat, especially seeing 3 straight balls originally. So very surprised that he was first pitch swinging.
A lefty-on-lefty matchup. Asa Lacey pitching to Brennan Bro. The first pitch swung on and a ground ball over towards first base coach Ken Hokoff, as that will go past him and into the Miners bullpen. 0-1 is the count to Brennan Bro, and for Bro on the day, grounded into a fielder's choice, and then he reached base on the fielder's choice, was caught stealing, was the trail runner. That was caught stealing by Austin Pinarini back in the 2nd inning. And the top of the 4th, Brennan Bro grounded out into a 3-6-1 double play as he lines one out to third baseman Tyler Bassetti. Bro retired to end things here on the top of the 6th. A nice catch from Tyler Bassetti, a line drive right at him as Asa Lacey works out of trouble in the top of the 6th. The Miners are hanging on to a 1-0 lead as they enter the bottom half of the 6th inning, as you're listening to the Mat-Su Miners on the Miner Radio.
Mat-Su Miners Internet broadcast is sponsored by the Napa Auto Parts of Alaska and owner Jim Ruda. Stop into one of your locally owned and operated Napa Auto Parts of Alaska and ask about a Mat-Su Miners jersey giveaway. So stop in and enter for your chance to win today.
You know what really gets a party started? Indoor baseball. Yeah, just find a broom or a pool cue, and you can use like anything as a ball. Cans, bottles, shoes.
Hey bro, toss me that avocado.
Most party fouls are pretty dumb, but if you decide to drink and drive underage, you could lose your license and your freedom. Underage drinking and driving, the ultimate party foul. Learn more at ultimatepartyfoul.org. Brought to you by the National Highway Traffic Safety Administration and the Ad Council.
What's up, guys? This is Spencer Henson, infielder at Oral Roberts University, and you're listening to Matsu Miners Radio.
Asa Lacey with some tremendous pitching to work out of trouble in the top of the sixth. Jake Veith walked. J.C. Correa got on base with a single, but then the next three Anchorage Bucs were set down. As now Spencer Henson will come to the plate here in the bottom of the sixth inning. It'll be Spencer Henson, Austin Pinarini, and Nick Brooks. Miners have a 1-0 lead over the Anchorage Bucs and a chance to do more damage against Adam Seminaris here. Henson in his last at-bat hit the solo home run to give the Miners a 1-0 lead as he takes a pitch inside for a called strike. Looked like a little cutter from Adam Seminaris. No balls and 1 strike is the count. The 0-1 from Seminaris swung on, ground ball, hot shot over towards shortstop Dimitri Calaccio. Running hard is Spencer Henson, but he'll be thrown out in time by Calaccio. 2 pitches and 1 out here in the bottom of the sixth inning, and now Austin Pinarini coming to the dish. Pinarini on the day has yet to reach the base paths. Flew out to the catcher in foul territory back in the bottom of the second, and in the fourth, grounded out to third baseman J.C. Correa. As now it's another lefty-on-lefty matchup. Seminaris to Pinarini. The first pitch is swung on and a fly ball towards left field, ranging in to make the catch. He does. Is the left fielder Daniel Fredrickson. 3 pitches have been thrown here in the bottom of the sixth inning, and 2 outs have been recorded. A ground ball to shortstop Dimitri Calaccio to get Spencer Henson, and then a fly ball to left field to retire Austin Pinarini. Nick Brooks will now come to the dish, and Brooks 1 for 2 on the day. Had a single in the fourth and grounded out to the shortstop Dimitri Calaccio in the second.
Seminaris, much like the good starting pitchers do, shook off that 1 home run that he allowed, and other than that, the Miners really have struggled getting to him.
Quickly 2 outs here in the bottom of the sixth, as now Nick Brooks will watch one go by outside for ball 1. Nobody is warming up in the Miners bullpen as we speak. A check down to the Bucs bullpen. Nobody there as well, as Brooks takes a fastball from Adam Seminaris for a called strike. 1 ball and 1 strike is a count with 2 outs here in the bottom of the sixth inning. Miners 1, Bucs nothing. Should Nick Brooks stay alive at the plate and get on base, Josh Hatcher is on deck as Brooks swings around. He tried to hold his swing. Unable to do so, as now the count has gone to 1 ball and 2 strikes to Nick Brooks. One and 2 the count, 2 outs. Seminaris from the windup. He's ready and deals. Just a bit low. Infield thought he was there, as everybody besides the outfield took a step in. But Nick Brooks stays alive at the plate. 2 balls and 2 strikes with 2 outs. Seminaris, the 2-2. Swung on, ground ball over to J.C. Correa, who it bounces off his glove. Nick Brooks runs it out. It'll be an error charged to J.C. Correa. Nick Brooks running all the way. He reaches base. It'll be the first error allowed by the Anchorage Bucs. And now Josh Hatcher will come to the dish.
That's multiple times tonight that Correa has troubled having with the ground balls at third base. This time it's a huge way with an error, so he'll have to figure it out in the hot corner as we move along in this game.
Josh Hatcher at the plate. Hatcher 0 for 2 on the day. 2 strikeouts to Adam Seminaris as he swings and fouls one off his leg as the ball will go into fair territory. Hatcher will walk around in foul territory. 0-1 the count with the runner on first base. With 2 outs in the bottom of the sixth, Hatcher looking to extend the Matsu Miners lead as they are hanging on by a thread of just 1.
Hatcher, a real guy that takes some hefty cuts, so anytime that he fouls it off and it'll hit him in his body, it cannot feel good.
Hatcher during the regular season was hit by a pitch. Only 1 time was hit by a pitch again in the postseason. One in the regular, one in the post. And now he deals with an 0-1 count with 2 outs in the bottom of the 6th. Samaneris, a long hold on the mound as he looks at Nick Brooks, and the pitch goes inside for ball 1. 1-1 the count to Josh Hatcher. And on deck, should Hatcher extend the inning, is Danny Wright. Hatcher struck out swinging both times today, looking to do something else right now as the 1-1 is delivered, swung on and missed for strike 2. Foul tipped into the glove of Troy Clounch. 1 ball and 2 strikes.
And it's tough for these lefties to see Samaneris because he brings the ball back almost behind his back, so you don't see the ball until he's halfway through his motion coming to the plate. So you have to be real conscious of spotting the ball as soon as you can.
Samaneris pitching from the stretch. Nick Brooks is on first base. The 1-2 pitch is swung on and a ground ball over towards second baseman Willie Escala, who has it. The throw over in time to first is in time for the 3rd out in the bottom of the 6th inning. Matsu Miners still hold a 1-0 lead over the Anchorage Bucs. And now the 7th inning is upon us. We'll throw it over to Brad Walker for the 7th, 8th, and 9th as you're listening to the Matsu Miners on the Miner Radio.
Matsu Miners Internet broadcast is sponsored by the Napa Auto Parts of Alaska and owner Jim Ruda. Stop into one of your locally owned and operated Napa Auto Parts of Alaska and ask about a Matsu Miners jersey giveaway. So stop in and enter for your chance to win today.
The Alaskan Railroad and Operation Lifesaver would like to remind our friends and neighbors when approaching a railroad crossing, always expect to train. Look, listen, live.
Hey, I'm Tyler Bassetti. I'm from Nevada, Reno, and you're listening to Matsu Miners Baseball.
Move into the 7th inning as the Miners just holding on ever so slightly over the Anchorage Bucs 1-0 in Game 1 of the Top of the World Championship Series, and a rematch of last year's 3-game series where the Miners got the advantage 2-1 in those final 2 games. It was really attested to their hitting, where they outscored the Bucs by a run differential of +16, scoring 20 runs in those final 2 ball games. But 2 somewhat new teams, some returners, but for the most part a lot of new faces. Asa Lacey still on the mound for the Miners as Escala, Enos, and Calaccio, the 7, 8, 9 batters, are due up for the Bucs. Lacey's first pitch to Escala has him roping it foul and over to the right side, so the count goes 0-1. Still looks like a new right-hander up in the pen for the Miners, and Malachi Emmond, and still no sign of anyone up in the Bucs pen, so it seems like they're going to roll with Samaneris as long as they can. As Asa Lacey, his longest start of the season was 7 innings as it came against the Chinooks, so he looks to tie that, trying to get 3 outs here. His next pitch into Willie Escala. Escala squared around, but then pulled it back as Lacey missed outside with a fastball, 1-1. Escala tonight is 0 for 2, and overall against the Miners is now 5 of 43 as he sends this one in the air foul, 1-2. Escala now in his past 27 at-bats against the Miners, only 2 hits, so really struggling at the dish against Matsu, hence why more down in the lineup as opposed to more being a top of the lineup kind of guy. Lacey is 1-2 offering, big breaker, just missed upstairs, 2-2. You can hear it from Herman Brothers Field and the Miners faithful. They were not happy about it, but Asa Lacey will have to shake it off and pitch next as it's still 2-2. As this is a fastball that nails the inside corner for strike 3, and Asa Lacey now 7 strikeouts for out number 1 here in the top of the 7th inning. Check that, 8 strikeouts. A little miscue in my book. As Escala is set down, that's now the 2nd time he's been down on strikes. So that'll bring up the right-handed hitting Logan Enos, who's a switch hitter, so still batting from the right side as he lines one out into left center field. Moving over quickly and getting to the ball is center fielder Kona Quiggle. And Logan Enos is on with a base hit, his second hit of the night in the top of the 7th inning with 1 out. As the Bucs are trying to get scoring sooner rather than later as they trail by 1-0 to the Miners, and trying to get a run across possibly before the Miners decide to go to their bullpen, which has been solid all season long. So that's going to bring up Dimitri Calaccio from the right side of the dish, as he had a interesting out in his last at-bat. Josh Hatcher reaching over the fence to make the catch in foul territory as he swings through a first pitch fastball from Asa Lacy, 0-1. And before that at-bat, Calaccio struck out, so officially 0 for 2 on the evening. And Calaccio against the Miners is only 3 of 20. So Lacy, who's had to work out of the stretch every single inning tonight. Calaccio tried to drag bunt, but this one rolls foul to the backstop, 0-2. Lacy, in his past 5 starts now, has struck out 44 batters. Very impressive stuff for Asa Lacy, who in those previous 4, he was 3-0 in 22 1/3 innings pitched, only 3 earned runs allowed. As he sits 0-2, his pitch to Calaccio is fouled off to the right side, 0-2.
And Asa Lacy, a big lefty, touches around 94, 95 miles per hour. Just what you would expect out of that big frame from Lacy.
And definitely has reached 95, I would have to imagine, a few points tonight. Some frustration pitches where he just rears back and says good luck to the Bucs hitters as he has a chance to put another away, 0-2 with 1 out. Kicks, deals the pitch. Breaker misses low. Pinarini had to drop to his knees to stop that ball from going to the backstop. So the count moves to 1 ball and 2 strikes. 1 out, top of the 7th inning. Miners ahead of the Bucs, 1-0 thanks to Spencer Henson's solo shot in the 4th. Other than that, it's been really a pitching duel. So Lacy checks first and now motion to the plate, and Calaccio yet again fouls it off to the right side. So when Calaccio does get around to hitting Lacy's pitch in this at-bat, he's well behind it. We'll have to work on that timing in order to possibly put something in play. As the Bucs in their first series only hit have an average of 240 with 16 runs, as 15 of them came in Game 2 against the Oilers. Lacy is 1-2, yet again fouled off to the right side by Dimitri Calaccio. So in Game 1 of that series for the Bucs, they went 12 innings, 1 on a walk-off, 1-0. Then in Game 2 really brought it to the Peninsula Oilers with those 15 runs, scoring 16 in the 2. But their pitching really carried them, a .86 ERA in both games. So Lacy, his 1-2 pitch seemed like a hit-and-run scenario was on, as Enos was on the move and Calaccio just kind of flung the bat out to foul it off to the backstop. Count stays at 1-2. Logan Enos back in the 3rd inning when he reached on a single, stole to 2nd and all the way over to 3rd. So 2 stolen bases in that. So surprising that Calaccio was swinging at that pitch, although it may have been called a strike 3. Still a 1-2 count between Lacy and Calaccio. He comes set from his chest. A long look into Austin Pinarini. Now he fires in. This one's a tapper to first. Hatcher has it. Strong throw to 2nd in time. Swiss relay to first will not be there, as Asa Lacy was a bit late getting to first base off the mound as such a quick shot to first. And then Drew Swift, obviously, with the quick hands and strong throwing to first, couldn't get that 2nd out. But the Miners do get the 2nd out in the top of the 7th inning.
Just a great play from Hatcher. Any ball that's hit his way, he knows where he wants to throw it. As soon as he got it, throws to 2nd base, and then the turn, just not in time, but again at the plate, Dimitri Calaccio has quick feet, so he reached first.
And right before the top of the lineup is due back up for the Bucs, Jeff Erlab going to make a mound visit to discuss what to do to Daniel Fredrickson. And you would have to imagine he's telling Asa Lacy to just get Fredrickson out before Jake Veith reaches the plate. And Fredrickson has struck out 3 times tonight, as he came in with 4 in the first 2 games of the postseason, now up to 7, as he struck out only 18 times in the regular season, so unfortunately hitting a cold spell and not a great time. So the meeting is adjourned. Lacy will stay on the mound. Calaccio will be on first. He just reached on a fielder's choice, as there's 2 outs in the top of the 7th inning in Game 1 of the top of the World Championship Series between Bucs and Miners. Miners currently leading 1-0. So Lacy, we mentioned, has been working out of the stretch in every single inning of this game looks to get out of yet another possible threat by the Bucs. His first pitch, a nice breaking ball that started high and then just dipped in the zone at the last minute. 0-1. Mentioned Fredrickson is 0 for 3 tonight with those 3 strikeouts, as he is now 0 for his last 16. Only 1 hit in his past 23. A guy that hit .211 in the past season. This next pitch from Lacey misses low and away. 1-1. To the left-handed hitting Fredrickson out of Gonzaga. The Miners looking to make it 10 out of their last 11 in playoff games. Mentioned that only loss came in last year's top of the World Series in Game 1, which the Miners really came back in a vengeance in the next 2. Counts 1-1, 2 outs. Lacey checking on first now, goes to the plate. Calaccio is on the move, but swinging was Fredrickson. Pinarini wasn't able to haul it in, so it rolls all the way to the backstop. But Lacey is ahead in the count, 1-2. As the Bucs will now have a runner in scoring position with 2 outs, thanks to the stolen base by Calaccio. So Fredrickson, who's looking to steer away from getting the golden sombrero, with 4 strikeouts, steps back up to the dish, 1-2. Lacey with 8 strikeouts tonight, as the Miners in their past 2 games have struck out only 15 batters, as they led the league in that category this past season with 350. So Lacey is 1-2 offering, just misses inside around the belt, 2-2. Calaccio thought about it, as he's struck out swinging in every single at-bat this evening, and just 1 of 13 in postseason play. So Lacey looking in. Count is 2-2. He'll take a step off the rubber, as he and Austin Pinarini weren't quite on the same page, but he kind of nodded his head and said, let's regroup. Let's make sure we're throwing the right pitch.
And a big pitch it's about to be.
You always want to make sure you're on the same page with your battery mate. Lacey is 2-2, swung on and missed by Daniel Fredrickson. That's the 4th time tonight Asa Lacey's got Fredrickson swinging through strike 3. Lacey with 9 strikeouts holds the Miners 1-0 lead over the Anchorage Bucs in the top of the World Championship Series. We'll stretch, and when we come back, we'll have the bottom of the 7th inning on the Matsu Miners Radio Network. Matsu Miners Internet broadcast is sponsored by the Napa Auto Parts of Alaska and owner Jim Ruda. Stop into one of your locally owned and operated Napa Auto Parts of Alaska and ask about a Matsu Miners jersey giveaway. So stop in and enter for your chance to win today.
You know what really gets a party started? Indoor baseball. Yeah, just find a broom or a pool cue, and you can use, like, anything as a ball. Cans, bottles, shoes. Hey, bro, toss me that avocado.
Most party fouls are pretty dumb, but if you decide to drink and drive underage, you could lose your license and your freedom. Underage drinking and driving, the ultimate party foul. Learn more at ultimatepartyfoul.org. Brought to you by the National Highway Traffic Safety Administration and the Ad Council.
Hi, I'm Caleb Van Blake, infielder from UC Davis, and you're listening to Matsu Miners Radio.
Asa Lacey with 2 strikeouts in the top of the 7th inning propelled the Miners into the bottom of the 7th with a 1-0 lead over the Anchorage Bucs in the top of the World Series Championship Series between the 2-seed Bucs and the 1-seed Miners. We mentioned the 1 seed was decided in the regular season finale here at Herman Brothers Field, where the Miners got the victory. Hence, all 3 games will be played here at Herman Brothers Field. If there needs to be 3, there'll at least be 2. Nevertheless, Adam Seminara is still on the mound for the Bucs, as this will be the 3rd time, if you include the regular season, he's gone past the 6th inning, as he went 8 innings in his last start, that he's appeared past the 6th. So Seminaris misses outside with another pitch, 2-0. Danny Wright tonight is 0 for 1, reached on a walk back in the 3rd inning and then lined out in the 4th. So still in search of his first hit as he grounds one over to short. Calaccio gathers it, strong throw to first, beats Danny Wright by half a step for out number 1. That'll bring up Tyler Bozzetti up to the plate. Bozzetti 0 for 2 tonight, and really struggling of late as he struck out 5 times in the past 3 games, now 6 in the past 4, and is 8 of 37 against the Bucs with no hits in his past 13 at-bats. But always time for change, as he went 1 for 4 last night with a walk, as that was his first hit in 5 games. So looks to keep that upward trend going here in the bottom of the 7th. As he lines this one straight back into the press box. Count goes 0-1. So Seminaris is still working, trying to provide another dominant effort. As we mentioned, that first series, the Bucs pitching was on fire. In 21 innings pitched, a .86 ERA, only allowing 12 hits and had 19 strikeouts. Bozzetti, he hits one hard over to short, but leaping to make the grab was Dimitri Calaccio for out number 2. So an unfortunate line out there for Bozzetti. What originally looked to be a base hit was a nice play by the shortstop Calaccio.
Unfortunately, Bozzetti just didn't get under it enough to get it over Calaccio, and then it was just a hard hit line drive.
That brings up Drew Swift with 2 outs here in the bottom of the 7th inning. Miners still leading 1-0, but they would always like to add on more. 1-1 is definitely possible, especially when you face a team like the Bucs, who are second in runs this season. First pitch into Drew Swift's a one-hopper over to second. Escala has trouble with it and tries to throw to first. He almost got him, but Drew Swift with the speed beat the throw. I tell you what, just to Escala to have the thought of getting him was really impressive.
Well, Escala, trying to stay with the play and try to stick with it, but just went out of his glove, and of course Swift hustling out of the box, unable to get him.
So Drew Swift reaches first with 2 outs in the bottom of the 7th inning. That'll bring up Kona Quiggle. Last time Swift reached with 2 outs, Kona was able to provide a base hit, so he looks to do the same right now. The Miners trying to extend that 1-0 lead against Seminaris, to which Kona Quiggle, this is his 4th at-bat. Already 2 of 3 tonight against Seminaris, who misses high and away, ball 1. As that is the 2nd error of the night attested to the Bucs, as the first error came back last inning, actually, in which Nick Brooks was able to reach. So Quiggle steps in from the left side. He sends one deep into right field. Moving back as Vandenbrake to the track, makes the catch at the wall for out number 3. That was a drive by Kona Quiggle, but unfortunately not enough to get over the wall, as we'll end the bottom of the 7th inning. Still 1-0, Miners atop of the Bucs in Game 1 of the Top of the World Championship Series, as we head into the 8th inning on the Matsu Miners Radio Network.
Hi, I'm Caleb Van Blake, infielder.
Matsu Miners Internet broadcast is sponsored by the Napa Auto Parts of Alaska and owner Jim Ruda. Stop into one of your locally owned and operated Napa Auto Parts of Alaska and ask about a Matsu Miners jersey giveaway. So stop in and enter for your chance to win today.
This is Mario Andretti. You know me as a race car driver, but I'm also a Meals on Wheels volunteer. I've raced against the sport's biggest personalities, but I've never met more vibrant, amazing people than the seniors served by Meals on Wheels. You can make a difference by dropping off a hot meal and saying a quick hello. So, America, let's do lunch. Volunteer your lunch break at americaletsdolunch.org.
This message brought to you by Meals on Wheels America and the Ad Council.
Hi guys, Drew Swift, infielder from Arizona State University, and you're listening to Matsu Miners Radio.
In the 8th inning now, here in Game 1 of the Top of the World Championship Series between the 2-seed Bucs and the 1-seed Miners at Herman Brothers Field in Palmer, Alaska. Asa Lacey, his day is over as the Miners lead 1-0. Lacey goes 7 innings, strikes out 9, does not allow a run, and only walks 3 batters. Check that, 4 batters. So Lacey, excellent performance for the Miners, really propels them into a great chance to win this game. Lacey also only allowing 5 hits. So a great performance from Asa Lacey. And the new pitcher for the Miners is right-handed thrower out of Coventry, Connecticut, and New Mexico, Malachi Emmond. Emmond has only appeared in one game in the postseason on August 2nd against the Chinooks, where he worked a scoreless inning of work. He had 2 strikeouts and 3 batters faced. But in the regular season, 19 innings pitched, 1.89 ERA, and 33 strikeouts. So he'll be facing the toughest part of the Bucs order. Jake Veith leads it off, followed by J.C. Correa, and then Troy Clonch, the 2, 3, 4 batters. Veith does not have a hit tonight, but has reached in every single at-bat. 2 walks, and then a hit by pitch. So Emmond, his first pitch is fouled off to the right side, 0-1. As this will be the first time the Bucs will be seeing a right-hander, Lacey being the tall lefty. So a bit of a different viewpoint. It'll be interesting to see how Emmond deals to these Bucs hitters. So Emmond comes set from his chest. Now goes down to his torso, kicks, deals. Nice breaking pitch, but it misses low, 1-1. So Veith, who came into tonight with hits in past 5 out of his 6 games and is 12 of 33 against the Miners, has also gotten a hit in the past 2 matchups against Matsu, but has yet to have one tonight, thanks to all the walks. As he gives this one a lift into deep left field, Danny Wright moving back near the track and makes the catch just in front of the wall. So Jake Veith has been retired for the first time tonight in the top of the 8th inning for out number 1.
Well, that can only be a good sign for the Matsu Miners, as finally Veith has not reached base. A lot of energy expended by Asa Lacey trying to get him out, walked him, hit him, and walked him again, but now an out coming from Veith.
So J.C. Correa will now step into the box for the first time tonight without Jake Veith being on first base, as Correa has reached all 3 times as well, twice on a fielder's choice, and then had a hit in his last at-bat in the 6th as he takes a high fastball from Malachi Emmond, 1-0. Mentioned coming in relief for Asa Lacey. An excellent start for Lacey and a much-needed one for the Miners as Malachi, excellent breaking ball, nails the outer edge, 1-1. Well, righty-on-righty matchup with 1 out in the 8th inning. The Miners trying to win 10 out of their past 11 playoff games. So Emmond, his 1-1 is fouled just back by Correa, 1-2. Emmond, we mentioned, a big strikeout guy, 33 strikeouts and only 19 innings pitched. So rarely, always going for the strikeout, no matter what count he's in. But in 1-2, it's definitely what you're looking for. Emmond to look in, kicks, fires. Correa taps it just foul over to the right side. So count will stay at 1-2. So Malachi, who has struck out more than one batter in 14 of 17 appearances, as he looks for his first one now. His pitch, this is a hard shot over to first base, but Josh Hatcher handles it quite nicely and makes the play himself for out number 2. Tell you what, Connor, Hatcher's playing a pretty good first base tonight, as given the Miners chances for double plays when the ball's hit to him, and then even right there handles a real hard shot off the bat of Correa.
Absolutely, and for Josh Hatcher, who hasn't really been in the everyday starting lineup during the regular season, understandably he got in here late, but he had to play behind Spencer Henson. Now Henson's the designated hitter. Hatcher has a chance to shine and show his defense at first.
He's doing quite well as Troy Clonch steps up to the plate. Has cooled off since having that leadoff double in the 2nd with 2 straight strikeouts as Malachi paints a picture on the lower outside corner to the right-handed hitting Clonch. As Clonch really coming in hot as well. In his last game went 1 for 3, scored and also had an RBI. But against the Miners he's 3 of 14. And also down on the count, 0-2. Emmond yet again paints the lower outside corner with 2 outs here in the top of the 8th inning. Emmond trying to work a perfect inning of relief. So he looks in, gets his sign, comes set from his chest. Kicks, offers. Clonch thought about it, but it doesn't matter. Scott Johnson rings up Troy Clonch to end the top of the 8th inning. Malachi Emmond works a perfect 8th inning as the Miners still lead 1-0 in Game 1 of the Top of the World Championship Series over the Anchorage Bucs on the Matsu Miners Radio Network. Matsu Miners Internet broadcast is sponsored by the Napa Auto Parts of Alaska and owner Jim Ruda. Stop into one of your locally owned and operated Napa Auto Parts of Alaska and ask about a Matsu Miners jersey giveaway. So stop in and enter for your chance to win today.
gets a party started? Indoor baseball. Yeah, just find a broom or a pool cue, and you can use like anything as a ball. Cans, bottles, shoes. Hey bro, toss me that avocado.
Most party fouls are pretty dumb, but if you decide to drink and drive underage, you could lose your license and your freedom. Underage drinking and driving, the ultimate party foul. Learn more at ultimatepartyfoul.org. Brought to you by the National Highway Traffic Safety Administration and the Ad Council.
This is Aaron Walters from Texas A&M University. I'm a catcher, infielder, and you're listening to Mat2 Miners Radio.
After the perfect top of the 8th inning worked by Malachi Emmond, the Miners step up to the plate with a 1-0 advantage over the Anchorage Bucs in Game 1 of the Top of the World Championship Series. Adam Seminaris trying to work 8 innings in back-to-back starts against the Mat2 Miners, as he's only allowed the 1 run. Unfortunately, that's all the Miners have needed to have a lead in this ball game, so they're going to roll with them as Kyle Woolenweber is up now just playing catch in the pen. So the keys are still in the hand of Adam Seminaris, the left-handed pitcher from Long Beach State, as he'll be facing left-handed hitter Caleb Van Blake. He is 0 for 3 tonight, now does not have a hit in his past 9 at-bats, so he looks to turn things around. As he looks at a strike low, 0-1. Van Blake now 2 of 12 in the postseason. Has still yet to strike out, so doing a nice job putting it in play. It's just not been in the right spots. So Seminaris, who works from the wind, his next pitch is a hard ground ball hit foul. The count moves to 0-2. Seminaris this evening hasn't necessarily struck out a lot of Miners, only 3, but he's ahead in the count to Caleb Van Blake, 0-2. His pitch, this one, a tapper straight back to Seminaris, who makes the nice backhand and then will jog over and toss it to Jake Veith for out number 1. So 1 out, bottom of the 8th inning, and the man responsible for the lone run in this ball game will step up to the dish in Spencer Henson. Batting from the right side, the designated hitter of Earl Roberts, 1 for 3 this evening. That home run was his first of the postseason. He had 7 in the regular season. And now Spencer has on a 4-game hit streak, as he's technically now reached base in past 15 of 17. As he just keeps his hot hitting in the postseason on a roll. So Seminaris, his first pitch into Henson, misses low and inside around Henson's toes, 1-0. Henson, who came into this ball game tonight 4 of 8, is now 9 of 11, or rather 5 of 11 in the postseason, which is pretty good in the big moments. As he sends one just over the outstretched glove of Willie Escala. It actually nipped the leather, but it still rolls out into right field where Chase Vandenbrake is there to pick it up. So Spencer Henson, with his second hit of the night, has a man aboard for the Miners in the bottom of the 8th inning.
That was almost like slow motion coming off the glove of Willie Escala as he jumped up. He timed it perfectly, but just wasn't tall enough to reach out and make the catch.
So that's the Miners' first hit since the bottom of the 5th inning with 2 outs. They have had runners on, but haven't had a hit since that point. And Austin Pinerini, he's 0 for 3 tonight, but he's known for being clutch in big moments. Steps up to the plate from the left side. This one bounces in the dirt, gets away from Claunch, and Spencer Henson advances to second on the pass ball, and now the Miners with a runner in scoring position with only 1 out as they look to extend this 1-0 lead. In what was a rematch of last year's title series, the Miners trying to do the opposite of what happened in Game 1 last year as they went down to the Bucs 1-0 and had to win 2 in a row. Now trying to do the opposite, win Game 1 against the Bucs ace in Adam Seminaris, who now is only allowed a total of 5 runs if you combine the regular season, 3 of them being earned. So he looks in, his next pitch to Pino. He lines it into left field, moving in quickly as Bro. He'll make the catch on the run for out number 2, so just didn't get down quick enough for Pinerini. He's retired with the second out in the bottom of the 8th inning.
It was a nice hard hit ball from the bat of Pinerini, just didn't find a hole.
And for the Miners, they've really been the only team that's somewhat gotten to Seminaris. Now 2 runs all earned against Seminaris. So 2 out of the 5 total runs he's given up have been to the Miners. Both earned have been to the Miners as well. Nick Brooks steps in from the right side with 2 outs in the bottom of the 8th. Henson still aboard on second for the Miners. Henson has reached in his past 2 at-bats, but is 1 for 3 as he reached on an error back in the 6th. This pitch from Seminaris misses well inside, with Brooks hopping out of the way of it, 1-0. Seminaris, the lefty, that real tough delivery, just talked about it earlier, really winds back, and then you don't see the ball until late in his release. Is down on the count to Nick Brooks, 1-0. So Nick Brooks, who has had a hit and an RBI in the past 3 games, now has a hit in the past 4. Let's see if he can keep the RBI stretch going. 1-0 into Brooks. This misses low and in the dirt yet again. Gets by Clonch, rolls to the backstop, and Spencer Henson will head into third. And the next run for the Miners is only 90 feet away. So Clonch, I would say, is having trouble stopping the balls behind the plate, but they've taken some funky hops that haven't went his way.
I think that'd be a fair assessment of Troy Clonch. I mean, he's been one of the best defensive catchers in the entire ABL, and just a couple wacky pitches that are bouncing every which way against him here has allowed Henson to go to third.
And Clonch is just a huge part of the Bucs' success. They really missed him that final stretch of the regular season because of the concussion protocol. So now standing in, trying to make a big moment, and he'll definitely have to stop any ball now if he doesn't want the Miners to score again. Spencer Henson stands on third. The Miners lead the Bucs 1-0. Adam Seminaris working from the stretch. Now he'll work from the wind against the right-handed hitting Nick Brooks, who looks to get an RBI in 4 straight games. Seminaris 2-0 offerings, a fastball that hits high in the zone, 2-1. So now Seminaris working from the wind where he's definitely more comfortable, and he hasn't done so since the 2nd inning. So now 6 out of the 8 innings of work he's had to go from the stretch. His 2-1 pitch, this one misses high and away as Troy Clonch dropped to a knee to grab 3-1 Nick Brooks. Brooks, a hitter you don't want to miss. Just ask the scoreboard.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, the scoreboard finally is working here at Harmon Brothers Field. It's some great miracle that it got on. I think we just turned it on and it finally worked.
So Seminaris, his 3-1, swung and missed. That was a hefty hack by Nick Brooks. The count is now full with 2 outs. So a big pitch here from Adam Seminaris. Spencer Henson waits on third. Nick Brooks will take his time. When he does stand in, it'll be from the right side. Seminaris, the southpaw, trying to hold this lead. Just 1 for the Miners, as it's 1-0 in Game 1 in the bottom of the 8th inning, the top of the World Championship Series. Seminaris, payoff pitch is lined foul to the right side, so we'll try it again. Mentioned the season series, it was a tight one. Keep referencing it, but it came down to the regular season finale, which the Miners won 6-5, as in the final 13 games, Bucs went 10-3, all 3 losses coming against the Miners. So Seminaris looks in. His payoff pitch nails the lower inside corner, gets Nick Brooks looking for strike number 3. He's in disapproval, but nevertheless, we will head into the 9th and final inning of regulation with the Miners atop the Bucs 1-0 on the Matsu Miners Radio Network. Matsu Miners Internet broadcast is sponsored by the Napa Auto Parts of Alaska and owner Jim Ruda. Stop into one of your locally owned and operated Napa Auto Parts of Alaska and ask about a Matsu Miners jersey giveaway. So stop in and enter for your chance to win today.
Hey y'all, I'm Blake Shelton. I love that country music connects people all over this great nation, but unfortunately so does something else, childhood hunger. 15 million children struggle with hunger in America. That's why the Feeding America nationwide
It's Josh Hatcher here, infield outfield from Mississippi State University, and you're listening to Matsu Miners Radio.
It's the top of the 9th inning here in Game 1 of the top of the World Championship Series. The Miners are atop of the Bucs 1-0 at Harmon Brothers Field in Palmer. So the Miners trying to extend their home overall record to 19-5 and also win 10 out of their last 11. They do so with a small lead, but the man to try to preserve that will be the closer for the Miners, and the voted top prospect and first team All-ABL, Bryce Tossan. The 6'2" right-handed thrower out of Walker, Louisiana, attends school at Southeastern Louisiana, where he just finished up his redshirt sophomore season. Bryce was good in the regular season, went 20 appearances, 10 saves, which was good for best in the ABL. Had a .81 ERA, and in the postseason so far, he has been just as the Miners asked. 2 appearances, 2 saves, and in 2 2/3 innings pitched, no runs allowed with 1 strikeout to boot. As his last appearance was a long save, but nevertheless still worked, as he went 1 2/3, did not give up a run with 1 strikeout and only 5 batters faced. So the last hope for the Bucs, working with 3 outs, they need a run, will be Jace Vandenbrake, Bennett Bro, and Willie Escala. Vandenbrake stands in from the left side. So Bryce Tossan, his first pitch is a fastball that takes a funky hop off the mound, but moving over from his right from the second base position is Caleb Van Blake, who makes the play for out number 1. So 1 pitch, 1 out for Bryce Tossan. That's efficiency.
That is efficiency, textbook definition. I mean, Bryce Tossan just does a nice job, located the pitch, and gets Vandenbrake to ground out into the pitcher's mound, and great play by Caleb Van Blake to recover and get it.
So Bryce Tossan will now face Brennan Bro, who also steps in from the left side. Bro is 0 for 3 tonight after lining out to Tyler Bozetti in his last at-bat. He looks at a heated fastball on the lower portion of the plate, 0-1. Miners trying to get game 1 here in best of 3 series in the top of the World Championship Series. Tossan, who works from the line, this one is scorched foul and out of play to the right side. Tossan ahead in the count, 0-2. Miners dropped game 1 last year, but trying to get game 1 this year and only be 1 win away from their 3rd straight ABL title, as this is their 5th appearance in a row in the top of the World Championship Series. Tossan looks in, his 0-2 pitch. Called strike 3. The Miners are 1 out away from a game 1 victory in the top of the World Championship Series. Excellent pitch from Bryce Tossan.
Exactly. Just a tremendous pitch from Bryce Tossan, getting Bro to look at it. Like, Bryce Tossan's been the man all season long.
And Willie Escala, what a time to get your first hit in a ball game as the Bucs are down to their final out. Miners trying to take game 1. Scala steps in from the right side. His first pitch line straight to Drew Swift, who makes the catch for out number 3, and that's the ball game. The Miners take a 1-0 lead in the best of 3 series in the top of the World Championship Series. Bryce Tossan now a perfect 3 for 3 in the postseason on saves for the Miners, as we'll do it all over again tomorrow at game 2 between, of course, the Bucs and the Miners. So your final tally tonight in what was truly a pitcher's duel is the Bucs dropping, as they had no runs on 5 hits, also had 2 pretty costly errors as they left 7 on base, where the Miners, they score 1, have 5 hits, no errors, and leave 6 on base. So Asa Lacey with a tremendous performance, going 7 strong, 5 hits, no runs on 4 walks, and struck out 9. Adam Seminaris goes the distance, a complete game, as he did not have to come on in the 9th for obvious reasons. And with the save is Bryce Tossan. So the Miners get the win, are up 1-0 in this best of 3 series, and we'll have our Matsu Miners playoff postgame show coming up in a few short moments with interviews with skipper Ben Taylor and the Matsu Miner player of the game. So the Miners, for the final time tonight, take game 1 of the top of the World Championship Series 1-0 over the Anchorage Bucs. For Connor Mills, this is Brad Walker, and as always, it's been an absolute pleasure.